Here we are at Assembly Hall. This is Kevin Burke along with Coach Mike Bukowski, and we're going to do for you the Class AA State Wrestling Finals. And we're in for some wonderful matches tonight. We've already had a great start to the evening. Came in, first of all, with the Jumbotron video that's set up by J.D. Oliva, and that always gets the fans excited as far as things go. And then, Mike, you know as well as I do that Grand March is one of the neatest things in high school wrestling.
Well, it certainly is, Kevin, and it's an electric night here as usual. Almost a capacity crowd again. This is the first year that the IHSA has gone to the 3-day format with the individual state tournament, and I think the crowds have been excellent, and we're ready for some outstanding matches here tonight, really at all three levels.
All right, why don't you give us some background on the boys we're going to have out here at our first weight class, 106.
Well, these two young men are very familiar with each other. Nkosi Moody and Tommy Pawlowski actually met out in Fargo this summer in the Junior National Championship match, and they were both at 98 pounds there. And Moody won that match and won the Junior National Championship in freestyle. He has been ranked number 1 all year. Last week at the sectional, Tommy Pawlowski from Montini kind of turned the tables on him there, and he won a 7-4 match. So this is going to be a barn burner right off the get-go. Both these guys are, they really move. They're very active, and they're going to get after it here. We're in for a treat.
Now, again, give us some background. You've been in that tunnel quite a few times. What do you do to get your boy prepared coming out of the tunnel? There's got to be a lot of nervousness and stuff back there.
Well, the biggest thing you have to do is you have to, keep business as usual. The Grand March is awesome, and I used to tell our kids, relax, take a deep breath, enjoy it, get yourself focused. The hay's in the barn. All you got to do is make sure that you step on that mat like you have every other time this year for probably 40 to 45 times up until this point, and just do what you do best. And so the Grand March itself and all day waiting, this was kind of a new day too today with the 3-day format where the semifinalists, they won last night and they had to sit around all day today and did not wrestle. So we're going to see how or if that affects their performance at all tonight too.
Now, Moody will be in the white singlet as we come out here, and Pawlowski will be in the blackish with the maroon trim on it. And tell me a little bit more about Moody. He's a junior, first time down here. I believe he was homeschooled his first 2 years of high school.
Yes, that's what I hear, and he's a young man that obviously he's a little bit small for the 106-pound weight class, and that's one of the reasons why I don't think he's had previous success. But he's a Harvey Twister, and you know that name.
Yeah.
That's that equals a lot of success, and especially at the Illinois High School Association tournament here. So, he's going to be a pretty well-rounded kid. And Tommy, I had the pleasure of coaching Tommy for a couple years at Montini, and he's a very hard-nosed kid, very serious, great student, really demands excellence of himself. So I think, again, as I said, couldn't ask for a better matchup right now to start our night.
Oh, we've got some wonderful ones coming up. It gets much better. So y'all should just sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening. Where we're bringing you some great matches. And like Coach and I will talk about consistently, enjoy the match, obviously, watching and so on, but also use it to learn some things. Watch the technique these kids do. They all shoot the same basic moves that you all know, but they just tend to maybe get the hips in a little bit better spot, maybe react a little bit faster. So use this as a learning tool also. So we're going to get started here in just a couple seconds. They're trying to get everything ready to go. And
well, before we get started, Kevin, I just want to mention also, some other young men in this weight class. In the third place match previous to the Grand March here this afternoon, Anthony Bosco from Marmion had a great tournament and finished in third place with a tough match over the boy from Triad, Cole Wasaki. So it's always something. I know that this is the finalist night here, but it's also important, I think. Some of these weight classes are very, very deep, and to be honest with you, there's 5 or 6 quality kids in several of them. So just to get down here, first of all, is a tremendous accomplishment, and then to medal down here is really a lifelong dream of many young men, and to be fortunate enough to be on the big stage tonight, that's something that I just don't think you can put into words.
Well, you mentioned a minute ago how these boys have been sitting around all day because of the new format that the state passed this year, the 3-day tournament. They ran the semifinals last night, and boy, was that a great night of wrestling. That semifinals, we got to see 2 matches at each weight class for all 3 of the groups here, and just unbelievable semifinals. Those of you that had the opportunity to see them, either watching through here on the network or down here in person, it was really a great thing.
Well, it reminds me of, I hate to say this, but kind of the old days in the previous two-class system, where Friday night was a night where I think the energy level was really the highest almost it was all weekend. And you had the quarterfinals on Friday night, and obviously many people that couldn't get down to watch during the day on Friday. And a lot of the old Class A kids, if you remember the bracket set up back then, if they were the big names, the sectional champions, they didn't wrestle till Friday night. So that Friday night quarterfinal round was really a big-time, high energy round. And that semifinal round now reminds me of that, Kevin. I think it's the same type of setup, and I think we really look forward to that over the years. I think that'll become a tradition down here on Friday night for the semifinals.
Well, I hope so, because it was real entertaining. We're kind of waiting. One of the clocks malfunctioned here, and they're trying to get it fixed. That's why there's been a slight delay in the opening matches here. Well,
to talk to you, and to answer your question again, you addressed this. Really, this is the toughest part of the whole day right here. You're anticipating the Grand March, and you're in the tunnel, and you kind of expect all that. You have a time frame. These boys have seen the Grand March, for many years, so they know that they've got the Grand Marshals to introduce. They go through all the boys, so they're kind of timing that up, and they're ready to go. This is the time that's very difficult right now, because as soon as the Grand March is over, they strip down, they're ready. These guys have been walking around out there on the mats now for probably about 10 minutes now, a good 10 minutes, and this is the toughest time right here, because they're really raring to go.
As you can tell, the fans are getting real excited, and we're hopefully going to have some action here for you in just a couple minutes. They're still working on the 1 clock. They just announced Let's Wrestle, so they must have it fixed. So here we go. Again, Moody will be in the white singlet. Pulaski's in the black with the maroon stripes. This is 106, our state championship match.
Now, in the match last week, I know the difference was Pulaski kind of used a little bit of his size advantage, and he actually scored a near fall, a takedown to the back on Moody, and that was the difference in the match. And Moody wants to keep the match on his feet here, Kevin, as much as he can.
Yeah, he was in on a shot in the first 5 or 6 seconds. Not a pretty shot, but he forced it in there. Pulaski's got the front headlock kind of tied up, tries to shuck it by and bails out. Moody in on another shot. A real nice job. We've got to keep the toes in, and he's going to do it for the 2. So Moody will lead 2-0 with 1:35 left.
Well, it's an outstanding job. He gets to that single quick and gets around that corner. And Tommy Pawlowski just got to dig in here and kind of slow the pace a little bit and get the match to his liking.
Yeah, Moody cuts him, gives him the automatic point. So now it's 2-1 with 1:30 left. Again, you're right. Pulaski's trying to get his hands on him, maybe to slow him down a little bit.
Well, the old adage, when you're going to wrestle a guy that's very quick and very active on his feet, you want to crowd him. You want to get your hands on him. You want to cut down his advantage, which is that distance, and that's what Pulaski's going to try to use some of his better ties here and hand fight very, very tough to slow down those attacks.
He's in on an inside single. Pulaski puts in a good whizzer on him, forces the shoulder down. Pulaski should just bail out of bounds here if he could. Okay, we got a potentially dangerous call. We'll come back to the center.
Ray Epperson right on top of that. I thought the officiating down here this weekend, Kevin, was very good. I can't remember a lot of matches that were so-called decided by the officials, which is usually my barometer for deciding how well the officials are doing.
No, we do a lot of traveling, and officials in the state of Illinois are top class. They do a great job. And think of these guys. They're down here for 3 days, and they just don't have 1 or 2 matches, or 3 or 4 matches, They're out there all day long, and they do just a wonderful job. Pulaski's got him in the underhook there, tries to get in on a shot, and Moody's at the edge. He's probably not going to be able to score from there, so he pushes him out.
Those are the kind of ties that Pulaski wants to get. He wants to get in there chest to chest, work that underhook, try to slow Nkosi Moody down. Of course, Moody's going to use a lot of motion. He likes that angle there.
Yep, got a nice job of hitting the corner on that. He's got him in his position. He needs to scoot to his left if he's going to score off this. He's trying to get in. Pulaski looking for a stalemate. I think he's locked through the crotch. Has to break his hands now.
Big point in the match. There's under 10 seconds here. Both boys. This could be a break point in the match for either boy here.
Can we get out of it? Yeah, you're right. You have points late in the match, don't have a chance to score and get them back. It kills you in a tight match. Go to second period.
Absolutely.
Moody's going to defer. Pulaski's going to take bottom here in the second period. What do you look for him to do off the bottom here? Try and get a reversal to keep it on the mat, or do you think he'll try and get the escape?
Well, I bet she's going to cut him here, which she's doing here, yeah. So, Moody just doesn't want to have the weight or the size advantage at all, and the less time he can spend on that mat, I think the better off for him. That's his game plan, I believe, going in.
So it's 2-2 now. It's the beginning of the second period. Again, after Moody's got in on those early shots, Pulaski's done a great job of countering the shots. And, nice ankle pick. Can't score with it. And real active is Moody, moving him around, trying to get him off balance. Like Coach has been saying, that's what the quicker athlete wants to do. In on a tight carry. And he hasn't scored yet, has to drive and flatten out. Got the takedown, so he now leads 4-2.
Well, he did a nice job there changing up. He's been going outside on that single leg for previous shots, and he hit that high crotch and wanted to hit that carry and came off it. A very nice sequence.
And you just called it. His lack of size on top kills him. He's not tall enough or big enough to do a whole lot, so he ends up giving him the escape. So 4-3 with a minute left, second period. And Pulaski's doing a nice job of keeping his hands on him, but hasn't been able really to see anything offensively. You seen anything he could possibly do offensively to get underneath Moody?
Well, he's working that underhook series, and I think he wants to take that into a high crotch. And if Moody gets defensive about the high crotch, and I think Tommy wants to get him in a front lean position, try to use some weight on him and snap him down and see if he can, get on top of him that way.
Now, Moody did a great job of using the mat there. He kind of stayed at the edge, circled so he didn't get called for stalling. But when he started to get in trouble, he constructively got his hips out of bounds. So they'll come back to the center. 30 seconds left in the period. 4-3 Moody.
Again, it's another big point in this match. 1 point match here. And
yep, big turning point. As far as the score-wise, 2 points here would be huge for either boy. Moody's now going to have his choice in the third period. You think he's going to go underneath or take neutral?
That's going to be very interesting. It's a 1 point match, and as long as he has the lead, I would think he's going to stay neutral, but you never know.
Well, like you said earlier, his lack of size could hurt him as far as going underneath. Now they are having him choose bottom. His coach stood up.
And as long as he has the lead, I would think he's going to stay neutral, but you never know.
Well, like you said earlier, his lack of size could hurt him as far as going underneath. Now they are having him choose bottom. His coach stood up right away and gave him the positive sign there. Anthony Marcana is his head coach over there, and Israel Martinez would be the coach currently at Lombard Montini. And you said last week Pulaski turned him with something off the top?
Yeah, it was kind of off a scramble situation, and that was the difference in the match. And, again, I'm sure that's what he's looking for here. It's he's probably going to ride down to close to that minute mark, and if he doesn't get a turn or an opportunity to turn. Now, something that could come into play here is, some stalling calls. And, Moody looks like he's there. He gets it right there.
Just warned him for it because he's just kind of laying there flat on his belly.
So that's another option here that they might not cut him too soon.
Because Pulaski hasn't really had an offensive type of move to score with. But you're right, the stalling call might change the whole emphasis as far as what they're going to do here. We're at 1:15. You can see the clock and things on your scoreboard or on your screen, but every once in a while we'll still remind you just Pulaski's got a great ride. Leg hook, hips are in a solid spot, got the wrist trap, and there's the stalling call for the point. That ties it.
I'll tell you, that's a big call. It's going to make a decision. Usually, as you know, if you're down here by a point, you're going to cut the young man with a minute left.
And now you're obviously going to try and ride him and maybe get the second calling stall here because Moody, he needs to get out of bounds, get a fresh start because he's never going to come up and score.
Absolutely. He's got that wrist buried across pretty deep here, Pulaski. Yeah, he doesn't want to give him a fresh start.
Notice how Pulaski's trying to keep his toes in and jerk him back in.
Oh, he made a big mistake there, though.
Should have pushed him out when he had the chance. Now he trails 5-4. We're at 25 seconds, and he's got to start chasing him. Oh, Moody with a great job. Instead of playing defense, he just drove in on a shot. And again, that's just a nice coaching job. He's been very well coached.
Kowalski's going to try to get those hips up.
He gets the leg in. He's got the 2.
If he posts up on that arm, it looks like he could come up with this here. This is
not
going to be a
much
real
time.
tough
We're under
call.
5. There's the 2
gave him
with
the
5
2.
seconds left. And again, great refereeing there, officiating. He gave him a chance, let him keep moving, and when he got in the position, just a nice start for us there. So Tommy Pulaski's our state champion at 106 this year with a great match.
Great match. Got to hand it to both young men. Cozy Moody, you could tell he's a little bit undersized here in this weight class, and boy, he just got the heart of a lion there. What a great job.
See, then again, 2 contrasting styles. Moody with the quickness and stuff on and things on his feet, and Pulaski just did a great job when he got on top and slowing down the match, and ended up getting the takedown at the end to win it. So we'll be going up to 113 this year, and Coach, help me out every once in a while with these weight classes because I still get confused since this is the first year of the new ones.
I've called kids 112-pounders and 103-pounders. I'm still in that mode too, but 113. I think really, Kevin, 113 here in AA, you could make an argument it might be one of the deepest weight classes in this whole tournament. There is a whole list of quality kids in here.
I know.
From Marmion, and he's 22-1 right now. He's a sophomore, having an outstanding year. And also his opponent was a state place winner last year also, finished 3rd from Rock Island, Barlow McGahee, and he is just a tremendous specimen, and I know that he was upset last week, but he's been ranked basically number 1 all year, and this is going to be a real treat here tonight.
Yes, it is. Well, I got a chance last week to see both these boys wrestle quite a bit, and McGee is so quick on his feet. He moves around just tremendously, and I was really impressed with Jimenez. He's well under control, very well coached and schooled as far as his technique. So it's another one of those contrasting styles. McGee, athletic, quick as can be, against more of a methodical type of wrestler. So it should be real enjoyable for us.
Jimenez does an excellent job. His number 1 attribute is his hand control. When he's in the neutral position here, McGee got under it there, but
he didn't get the hand control quick enough. But McGee right away with the takedown. He's in the white and cuts him right away.
Didn't give him it.
Oh, didn't get the takedown. My fault. Exactly. Official said he didn't hold him on the mat long enough beyond reaction time. So again, McGee's in the white singlet. Oh, nice. Just a blast double type of thing. And now he does have the 2. He'll be the green on the scoreboard, as you can see there on your screen. So look for him to cut him here probably. He doesn't like to ride people for very long.
Jimenez came out a little different here than I've seen him. He might be a little tentative. He's got to get that hand control. He's usually got really heavy hands and does an excellent job of slowing down the attack, and doesn't seem to be doing that here.
Yeah, he's not getting his hands on him quick enough, as you said. You said he liked to get the hand control, and now he's got the arm under control and moving him. McGee wants to bail out from there. He wants to make it more of an outside shoot or shot type of thing. So we're at about a minute left in the first period, 2-1 in favor of McGee. McGee's in on a bad shot there. Jimenez got his hips out. McGee just powerful up to bail out of that. Again, watch the way they consistently moving around. McGee's trying to get him out of position. Jimenez got such a nice stance, and McGee's not able to get him where he can get to a shot. But we're inside, about 30 seconds left.
Jimenez is just in a stalking position, and again, when he's at his best, he's really creating openings and frustrating his opponent with that hand control.
Again, kind of a sloppy shot there to maybe try and force something. Now McGee's got the hand tied up. We're inside 15 again, like we talked about. You don't want to give up points late in the period.
Nope, 10 seconds left here.
Okay, 2-1 at the end of the period. We'll go to the second period and look for him to spend a lot of time on their feet during these periods. McGee, I'm sure if he gets his choice, he's going to choose neutral. Jimenez will take bottom, but I'm sure McGee, as you just saw, he's going to cut him and make it 2-2 with the automatic escape on the start. And that sometimes costs McGee at certain points in time. He doesn't like to go underneath, so in his choice in the third period, he'll probably take neutral because he doesn't have that confidence to get away once he's down under.
Well, that'll be interesting because I've seen Jimenez do some good things on top, and he can ride. And I've seen him, be successful from that position. So that'll be an interesting choice. See how the second period goes.
And Jimenez has done a nice job of slowing him down after the initial 20 seconds or 30 seconds or so. McGee hasn't been able to get in on a shot.
Well, that's what he does well. He dictates the control of the match. He's able to use that hand control, and he's not always the flashiest guy out there, but he is really a grinder and does an excellent job. He's very, very steady.
Well, we don't get a chance to see Marmion much from our area, but last week, for the first time they were in our sectional, I was very impressed with their kids. They are very well coached, very well schooled and disciplined, and they had a real nice sectional. Have had a great state tournament also.
Boy, McGee reacted very well to that shot.
Again, Joel Stockwell's his coach over there in Rock Island, and Joel's done a great job with that program. Years ago, I don't know how far back you go, but a guy named Walt Gerber was the head coach over there, and Walt recently passed away, and he was a great individual, colorful coach, always wore the maroons and gold suit coats and suspenders and shirts, and just a great guy. Had the program going well for a while, and Joel stepped in and got it back up there again, where they've got a solid chance to represent the sectional in the state tournament, the dual part, as we'll talk about.
Yeah, Walt was an icon in Illinois wrestling. There's no doubt about it.
Yep,
I'm going to miss him.
Yes, he was. He was, like I said, he did a lot of things for the sport and was just very enjoyable to watch, and his kids always did things so hard.
Shot with 10 seconds
10 seconds to go. He's looking for the tip or the carry off of it. Now he's just going to try and stay there and get out of the period. So here he goes, third period. What's he going to do with his choice? Look for him to take neutral.
He went his coaches are telling him neutral.
Yep, he wants to stay up there. 2-2, third period.
Right now, I think in that period, Jimenez swung the momentum to his side because now he's where he wants to be.
Well, you always hope that the kids in the first period maybe don't score with their moves, but they learn or see what's there for them eventually, and then hope that their conditioning pays off, or in the last minute they're in good enough shape in order to go out and get that done. So we'll see how that applies here at our 113-pound match.
Well, it looks like McGee has slowed his attack down a little bit. First 30, 40 seconds of the match, he looked a lot more aggressive and was in too deep on two shots. Here he is again.
Doesn't have the leg where he needs it. It's trying to adjust off that inside single. Jimenez trying to put his leg on the mat in order to counter it. McGee looks like he's just looking for the stalemate right now because he's not stepping to score.
If you see, Jimenez did a great job with that wrist. See that wrist control? He's on his wrist. He pulled that right off there. He's tough to score on.
Now, have you seen anything Jimenez can do offensively? Because he's going to have to start getting offensive here in the next 20 seconds or so.
I think what he's looking to do, I think he's looking to wear him down. He's going to look for a mistake. I think that's what his game plan is coming in right now because of that, choosing neutral here in the third period. He can do that. He can do that right in overtime. And, I think he knows if he stays square, he's kind of frustrated McGee for a while, and I think he's going to wait for some kind of a counter off a reshot or a slide by or something.
If we do get to the bottom part of the overtime, obviously Jimenez would have the advantage there.
I would think so, from where he is, because I'm pretty sure that he'll have a good opportunity to ride McGee for 30 seconds.
Well, he's in on a nice shot. Low single, got the leg up.
See that wrist control there? He won't let him reach across. See how he gets on that wrist?
He's grabbing his own leg to keep him from grabbing all the way across.
And then he tried to bar Zagar with that, and he wouldn't let him reach across and pick that farm.
Now we're inside
knee.
15. Here it is. Here's the match right now. No, didn't get him on the mat for reaction time. We're inside 5.
He is just...
Oh, he might end up winning it. He takes him down at the buzzer. Unbelievable. You all got to see it, and that was just tremendous. You called it, Coach. He just frustrated him late in the match and ended up getting him out of position. McGee went after it. Good position to score, but just didn't get it done.
Well, that's an excellent job right there, and boy, both kids wrestled. But Jimenez, again, he did a nice job in the third period, and he was able to, because of the ability to mat wrestle, I think that was an advantage in the match.
Because he couldn't
get that free point.
Boy from Rock Island didn't have the confidence to go underneath. Jimenez, now a 2-time state champion. He's a sophomore. He's one of those few kids who's got that rare opportunity to eventually be a 4-time state champion. So that's another great match for us. Again... right, as they finish giving out the awards, we'll go ahead and introduce you to the boys who will be competing here at 120 pounds for us. And again, tremendous matchup as far as some background, or as far as the caliber of wrestler here that these kids are.
Well, we are, Kevin, here. We've got, first of all, defending 3A champion, Matt Gorelli from Fenwick. And Matt, Fenwick High School has been reclassified this year as a 2A school, so that's a very intriguing thing. And Matt is undefeated this year, 22-0, had some injury problems early, so didn't get a chance to wrestle in any of the big tournaments throughout the year. He is wrestling from Montini Catholic, Kevon Powell, who is a 4-time place winner, and he's been a finalist 3 times, including the champion 2 years ago. Gorelli also is committed to Stanford University, and Kevon Powell is signed at Ohio U. And so you got some pretty great talent out there. And what makes this match even more intriguing, Kevin, is that these guys spend a lot of time working out together in the Izzy Style Club over the summer and the spring, so they know each other pretty well.
Gorelli will be in the white singlet, Powell in the black singlet, the Montini with the maroon. And again, special treat here for the referee. Jim Carnahan was one of the grand marshals tonight during the Grand March. That's quite an honor for him. And again, the referee in the state tournament's quite an honor for these referees. Again, Gorelli's in on a shot. Got the elbow hook there, trying to use it and score. And Powell's been one of my favorite boys to watch over the course of the years because he's more than willing to try to do some different types of things. And he's been pretty successful, like you said, in the finals quite a few times, and has one state championship under his belt.
Right. And Kevon's he's a very dangerous guy to wrestle because he can strike at any time. He has big match or big move capabilities. He can throw. He also has a very devastating near side cradle. And when you have a guy like that, his quarterfinal match earlier this tournament against the third place finisher in this bracket, Cam Kennedy, and any boy with the name Kennedy, has got some great roots in wrestling, and it was a 0-0 match, and Kevon loaded him up and ended up getting the fall to win the match. So he has the ability to do that, and Matt Gorelli certainly has the ability also. He can strike from any position.
Powell's in on a shot from a long distance. We got those long arms, so he actually stretched out and did hook the leg. Wrestling the edge of the circle, Gorelli should just shoot him out and get a fresh start there. There he goes.
One of the things I'm really happy to see is both these young men, as 120-pounders, still they are, attracted college interest and are signed and, both getting college scholarships. I think that's outstanding. You worry about that sometimes when you have the littler wrestlers, the 106-pounders or 103, what have you, a couple years ago. And it's great to see these guys get their due and be able to get to that point and have a college, have enough faith in them from there.
So at the period will be 0-0, and it's also nice to see that academically they're able to do this. Stanford, as we all know, is a great academic school.
Ohio U is no slouch either, Kevin. It's not Stanford, obviously, but it's a very, very good academic school.
And anytime you can get to college and have somebody pay for part of it, at least that's a great deal. So Gorelli gets the escape. He'll lead 1-0 here at the start of the second period. Powell's starting to try and be a little more active here, trying to get him moving, to get him out of position if he can. I notice Powell's got his right hand taped up. Has he had some problems with that, or is that just...
Kevon's had a series of injuries this year, and I know that Matt Gorelli had an injury that kept him out of the lineup for about a good month in the middle of the season. Both these guys have experienced some injury problems. And Kevon is a guy that's been trying to stay healthy. He had a concussion late in the season.
He's not an ankle pick or low single. And Gorelli does a great job. Go ahead, Coach.
And, so yes, he did have in the past, he's had a broken hand, and that might have flared up, and sometimes you need a little extra support on that. But both these boys, they've been pointing and peeking to this weekend, obviously, to try to get as healthy as they can. And as you know, in all your years, too, that's what the sport is all about sometimes, is making sure that you can put your best foot forward when you get to the big show here.
Yep, exactly. Again, Gorelli's done a great job of slowing down the match, keeping low scoring. Powell's in on a nice shot.
Great hips by Gorelli there.
Yes, it was. So we're still just about 45 seconds left, second period. So again, as active as they both have been, not many points, but sometimes that happens early in a match. We'll see if both of them are able to maintain the stance and the discipline in the third period when maybe they're a little bit tired.
Well, it's interesting because, again, this match has a little bit of a different pace to it as some of the other ones. These boys keep getting on the offensive, whereas the previous match, we were kind of more on the defensive side, and both these guys have had opportunities very close right there.
Oh, nice low
nice heel pick by Powell.
And got to spin and get behind him again.
Tell you what,
a lot of action, no points inside 15 seconds. Be big points if one of them could get it here.
Gorelli is awful tough on that defense there.
And Powell did a great job countering when Gorelli was in on him, under 5 seconds. And now we'll go to the third, 1-0.
Boy, that's an excellent period right there. Both guys are active there now. Here's the difference: is both of these guys can mat wrestle.
Yep. So Powell will take the bottom instead of like we saw in the earlier one where McGee didn't have the confidence to go underneath him. Not much movement off the whistle, though. Kind of looks like he just based up and wanted to just make sure nothing silly happened. Gorelli riding the hips really tight, looking for the head lever.
Now watching this, so far in the second period, Gorelli had a real nice exchange right off the whistle. Now Powell gets out. So, and as you remember, Gorelli won the coin flip, and he chose down in the second period. He got his point. So that's going to be big if it does go to an overtime situation or even a ride-out situation.
Yeah, for those of you that don't remember the overtime rule, in the ultimate tiebreaker, the first point would get their choice, top or bottom. That's why usually when it's 0-0, you don't want to defer. You want to make your choice and go underneath. We're still 1 minute and 15 seconds left and a lot of action. We'll see if somebody doesn't get a takedown. Oh, another nice shot. Again, for no takedowns, we've seen a lot of offensive moves and a lot of counters to those.
Well, you can tell that these young men are both college-level wrestlers with scholarships because of their ability to counter. That's something that you don't see in all the wrestlers. I mean, a lot of guys have offensive attacks and a lot of guys can score, but the ability to counter and take away a scoring opportunity from your opponent, I mean, that's what makes you a college wrestler and even an All-American, let's be honest.
Yep, and we have 45 seconds left here. Powell needs to get in on a shot. Again, nice job of getting in there and bailing out because it wasn't open for him. Gorelli seems to be forcing the action a little bit right now. We're at 30 seconds.
This is a good position that Powell's in. Unfortunately, every time for him he's been in this position, Gorelli's been near the edge, and he can't really work his repertoire.
That makes it hard. That's why a good wrestler doesn't waste his best moves at the edge. Maybe shoot him out to get back to the middle, because Gorelli's done a great job with staying in a position where he's not going to get into too much trouble. We're at 15 seconds. Again, looks like both of them are more than content to take it to the next part of this, which would be a 1 minute overtime period starting on their feet, but the first points would be declared our winner. And we don't have any warning for stalling yet, so we're all set as far as that goes.
Well, like I said, these guys have been in this situation, probably hundreds of times in their respective rooms with wrestling in the off-season, going takedowns, just two guys. That's what they're thinking right now. They've done this many, many times before, except this one means everything.
And I notice over in Montini's corner, and you're going to have to help me out, his last name, John
Javikovsky. Yeah, John, in my opinion, is by far the best assistant coach in the state of Illinois. Does an excellent job, and John started with me years ago, and he's just been tremendous. There's that ankle pick again.
Pick and got the whizzer in.
Look at that whizzer.
Flips it.
Ivan tries to get the leg hook.
Oh, just tremendous.
Wow, what an exchange there.
Yeah, wasn't that fun to watch?
Sure was.
Yeah, I know. We always talk about a good head coach is even better when he's got great assistants, and you were blessed with some of those people over the course of time.
No doubt about it. Oh, this is a mistake here by Kevon, and Gorelli's taking advantage of it.
Again. 15 seconds left. Got the whizzer in again. Running to it, keeps running, keeps the whizzer though, nothing yet. We're inside 5.
Watch that knee.
Yep. Got to get him to the mat. No, we'll go to the second part of overtime. Again, for those of you who aren't familiar with the rules, we'll have 2 30-second periods, and that'll be the cumulative score after those 30-second periods that would be declared the winner. If nobody has an advantage there, they would go to sudden victory, which we'll talk about if we get
right
that
here.
far.
Powell's got to change his approach, and the first time he was down, he didn't explode enough. He's got to get up to his feet and make sure he scores in this 30 seconds, or that almost turns into a ride out.
Yep, he's up on his feet. And Gorelli gets him back to the mat.
That was a going to his hip there. That's going to hurt him.
Yeah, he needs to explode with that outside leg. There's no pressure on it from where we can see. Now he tries a Granby to roll out. Gorelli, great job of countering. And we're inside 5 seconds right now for you.
That's a tough situation there. That was a tactical error by Kevon. And that 30-second ride out, you can't get tangled up. Now, if you're working Granby rolls and all, he needed to fire up and explode out of there. This is a very dangerous situation for him now.
I think he's going to cut him, Coach. He doesn't want to try and ride him. Going to give himself 30 seconds to take him down to win it. So again, Powell's got to kind of force the action here. He trails 2-1. Just nothing there for him from where I can see. He's going to have to just force it and hope. We're at 15 right now.
Gorelli does a great job leading with his head there. He doesn't let anything penetrate. Excellent defensive stance.
Again, for a 2-1 match, and there's a spin around. No, nothing
Gorelli
at the end. So Gorelli will be our state champion. 2-1 match, nothing but escapes as we saw, but a lot of action for that kind of situation. So your state champion will be Matt Gorelli from Oak Park, Fenwick.
What a match. Tremendous job by both kids. I tell you what, if you notice, there's a lot of mutual respect there. Matt Gorelli's not jumping up and down, celebrating and rubbing it in his face. I mean, he knows that Kevon is a great opponent, and Kevon would be the same, I'm sure, with that. What a tremendous show of sportsmanship there. Two kids just let it all hang out there on the mat.
Okay, let's go now to 126. Give us a little bit of background on the two boys we'll have here.
Well, again, we have another marquee matchup here at 26. We have a defending state champion, George Fisher from Marmion. He's a junior. He's 36-6, having a great tournament. And we have David Pierce. He's a 3-time finalist. He was second place last year from Civic Memorial High School in Bethalto. He's 25-2. He's a senior. So, again, we've got another a great setup for a great match right here.
Yeah, if I remember right, Pierce lost to Ben Whitford in the finals here last year, and Ben, as many of you know, left the state wrestling, I believe, up in Michigan right now.
Yes, he's up at St. John's in Michigan, and they're a nationally ranked team.
And he's a special talent, as we all remember. So, yeah, we're in for a good one here. Fisher will be in the Marmion blue with the white or silver stripe. Pierce, again, out of Civic Memorial, will be in the purple singlet out there. And Pierce's head coach is Chad Young. And as many of you know by now, the head coach, Dean Bradstedler, at Marmion High School, and he's helped by Joe Sylvester over there in the corner right now. Again, Pierce in on a nice shot off that tie-up.
Fisher's, another kind of has a style very similar to Jimenez. You know, he's a guy that likes to slow the pace of the match down. He does a good job with hand control. Always seems to be in close matches. You know, that's the type of a kid that he is, and he's put together a pretty good tournament here. Had some close calls, but that's what he does. He wins those close ones.
Well, that's the style I think maybe Marmion wrestles, because in a little bit we'll see Silvestro at 138, and he's very similar to as far as his technique and approach to the match.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little slide by there by Fisher. Again, Pierce is looking to drive him and keep the toes in. And help me out if I'm wrong here. Didn't Fisher start the year at 132, and because of maybe some injuries, they dropped him to 126?
Well, yeah, he was at 32 for the season, and there was an injury to Eddie Greco, who was ranked very highly for Marmion all year long, and Eddie was dropped out off the team, and because of that, and so Fisher was able to go down to 126 at that point. So he's taking advantage of it.
And Pierce representing Bethalto down there. Talk about earlier how the South programs have developed so much in the past few years. You know, during the Jumbotron, they talked about Mark Mestemacher and the great things he's done for the southern part of the state. And Pierce is an example of a boy who was able to take advantage of that. You just saw he gets a takedown, and he leads 2-0 with about 20 seconds left in the period.
He's doing an excellent job. He's a very, very dominating wrestler, and last year, obviously, at the time, Ben Whitford, he was could have been considered the best wrestler in the state of Illinois, and obviously he has since left. But so I think that was kind of a bad break for Pierce. Otherwise, he would be possibly a defending champion. I believe he's good enough.
Big point for Fisher to get here if he could. We're inside 10.
And here he is. He's looking. The referee stops that for a potentially dangerous. Good call.
Yep. Now he's telling them there's a certain rule situation the referees have to follow here as far as when it becomes stalling. And I think Ronnie Coit, the referee there, just informed the kids as far as where they are in that.
Well, the bottom man has a responsibility also. He can't keep coming up. As long as the top man puts the leg in before the stand-up, which is what's been happening, and they ride out the period, then the bottom man can't stand up and force that restart or force that stalemate, or that becomes a stall too.
So Fisher will defer. Pierce will take the bottom, 2-0, second period. Again, Pierce off the bottom seemed to just brace himself instead of moving quickly to try and get away. And now he's locking up some type of roll there and spins to the hips and gets his reversal. So he knew what he was doing, obviously. He leads 4-0.
It looked like some type of a Granby, but I'll tell you what, I don't like his position on top. It looks like he's getting a little high where he was. And Fisher's, he's swimming, he's headhunting there.
He kind of got a unique style. Notice how he throws the one leg, but then instead of trying to throw the second one, he just hooks it on the outside. And he looks like he's in terrible position, but he was very comfortable there earlier
cradle locked
today.
Up here. If he can get hip to hip here, Fisher could be in trouble. He's going to work to get that leg out.
Yep. How long's the ref going to let him stay there? He did suicided it and turned him. And it's going to get, I believe, 2 near fall. Huge points there. So again, while it looks unorthodox there on top, it works well for him, and he uses his hips and keeps him in a position that he's comfortable with. We're inside a minute left.
Well, he's he's really a complete wrestler, like I was saying before, David, and he's showing it here today. He can score from all positions, and I think that's another thing, getting back to your comment about college wrestlers. As you know, you have to be able to wrestle in the top position if you're going to be successful in college. And so the ability to ride and turn and even pin is something that not every wrestler possesses.
Oh, it's a great weapon to have, and we consistently talk about maybe that's where the state of Illinois falls behind when our kids get to college. Great on their feet, but because of our style here, we don't necessarily do well in the top position or even the bottom position.
Well, and that's what happens. Illinois is really more of a feet state in terms of what we do, and yeah, you're right about that, and that does sometimes become a style. And I know that we've been fortunate enough in my days as coach, and I know that Montini still does now, and a lot of other schools now are following suit and getting out to the East Coast, wrestling in the Ironman tournament. You'll see Dylan Reel later on here wrestling, and the Washington team made the trip out to the Ironman this year because they know it's good for them, and they know that they're going to be exposed to different types of wrestling, and a loss or two out there is going to really come in handy and be a better situation as we go.
Pierce got the leg in again, and this time it's warning green because he stood up into the legs, and that's the rule. Coach Silvestro's not happy about it, but that's the deal. He's standing up into it. First 2 were stalemates, and the third one becomes a warning for stalling. Again, my son Duke coaches over in Iowa, and they've got a totally different style over there. Boy, they get on top of you, and they just want to grind you. Mm-hmm. And very rarely do they cut people. Very rarely do they want to spend much time on their feet. They want to get on top and just beat on you.
Well, and it's also, the same way in Ohio and on the East Coast. And there's Pierce. Looks like he could be in a little bit of trouble in that situation we were talking about there.
Not much time, inside 10 seconds. See if he can bail out and not give up too much.
He gets his hips up and he stays
nice
on top. No score there.
Again, they had him Fisher had him in trouble, and because of his confidence up there with the legs, he was able to avoid getting himself into big problems. Again, here's where sometimes I differ from most people as far as things go. He chooses bottom. He's down 6-0 and been ridden out quite a bit, and he's got to go after and get some points here.
Looks like they're going to take injury time. Marmion's going to take injury time for something. Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. It's a 6-0. Of course, I'll tell you what, maybe he's thinking the best shot he has to score here is if, Pierce makes a mistake on top like he almost did there. And that could be something he's thinking too. And
He did almost have him in that defensive fall position when the leg was in, and he kind of had his shoulders trapped for a second, but he bailed out quickly. So maybe that's the reasoning behind it. But he is on injury time here to start the third period.
Again, 126 was another deep weight class this year. Doug Johnson from DeKalb won the third place match earlier in the day over in a tough match against Michael Sepke from Montini, and Lamont had a good kid named Jake Latansky, and Johnson from Bowen was also a kid, Bowen City School, and they've had quite a few guys that have made a splash last couple of years here in the state tournament. So again, 26 was another real deep weight class in 2A.
Yeah, Johnson lost to Fisher in the Sterling sectional in the final, and it was a real nice match to watch. Fisher's on his feet here. Again, he came up into the leg. We'll see what's going to happen as soon as he can. Leg comes off. Comes into a scramble position. Pierce steps over, and no points. Again, now Pierce has both legs in, and he'll just ride him forever here. It depends how long the ref's going to let him stay in there. Hips are tight. Got the wrist pulled in.
On the edge, you'll get a restart.
Yeah, Fisher's got to make something happen right away off this start. He can't let him get him flat, because then the legs come in and he's going to struggle for a while. Again, Fisher's body movement shows me that he's kind of looking like he's not having a whole lot of confidence as far as what he's going to get done here in the last
he's I don't know what his injury is. I don't know the nature of it, but he's kind of had that same body language all tournament. He had a real tough semifinal match, and that he barely got through. And I don't know if he's been injured all tournament, but he certainly hasn't been able to have an effort.
Yeah, he and Sepke was a great match to watch in the semifinals. He ended up beating him. I was final score, I believe, 6-5. And Pierce is down there on the side, and he's going to take some injury time here.
Well, we couldn't see it. The table's in the way, so I think he's got he thinks he's got a bloody nose. I don't know if blood time, or now they're saying blood time.
Yep, they originally started the injury clock. Now they changed it to the blood clock. And again, for those of you that don't understand, injury time you get 1 minute and 30 seconds, and blood time you get 5 minutes. So obviously you'd rather be on the blood time. Blood time you get to use it unlimited times, and the injury time, the second time, the other boy gets choice of position against you, and the third time you would be disqualified.
Yep, it looks like they're going to get a restart here. I think it was blood time.
1 minute and 13 left here in the third period.
Now, I know that I've seen Fisher, at various times this year and last year. He's done a pretty good job on top. If he gets a takedown here, look for him to go right to some type of an aggressive turn. I know he's got a pretty good cradle. I've seen him work from that cross-face Turk position.
He's in on a nice shot, a lot of scrambling. Hips are moving. Again, Pierce did a great job of scrambling around. I'm really impressed with his, I use the word scramble ability, if that's correct English.
Yeah. And Fisher's kind of in home run mode right now. He's taking chances and opening up. He knows he's down 5, so he's passing up possible scoring opportunities here because he knows he needs to hit something big.
Well, that's always my point, and I'm sure their coaches feel the same way at this point in time. What difference does it make if you lose by 9 or 10? But take that chance in order to try and get something done. It's not like it's a dual meet where you want to keep it under the major and things like that. And again, Pierce is playing it smart. He's getting in there underneath to stay out of the throws, more than willing to give up a takedown here. 6-3 with just over 20 seconds to go. Again, they're trying to scream at Fisher, jump to the side, and take a chance. Yeah,
he's going to come out front and work that armbar series.
Pierce just isn't going to come up. He's just going to lay there. We're inside 10 seconds. And our state champion at here in 126 pounds will be David Pierce, a senior from Bethalto Memorial. Again, he's coached by Chad Young, and it's finally a state championship for him. He's come close before, and this is it. Second place would be George Fisher. George, a junior out of Marmion Academy.
So David ends his career with a state championship. Congratulations, David Pierce.
All right, again, we've got some awards to pass out. We'll be back with our 132-pound match in just a couple minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, he just said the Duke's boy beat
Coach, now we're ready to go to 132 pounds, and again, a terrific matchup. Two of the better kids in our state this year at their weight class. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about them.
Well, first of all, you have the youngster is Chris Garcia from Montini, and Chris is only a sophomore. He finished third last year as a freshman. Chris is an Ironman place winner from this year, and he's got quite a task ahead of him. Zane Richards from Carbondale, everybody knows he's been top ranked all year. He's 46-1. His only loss this year was to a highly ranked national kid from Missouri. He's a defending state champion. Also, he's a Fargo freestyle national champion. And this year, he's been selected to be part of a very prestigious group. He's going to represent Illinois in the Dapper Dan Classic, which is an all-star meet that we've only had a handful of kids over the years that have ever been out there. So, and good news for the home Coach Heffernan here. He's a University of Illinois commit here. So Richards versus Garcia here, 132.
Yeah, Richards is in the black singlet with the white trim. Garcia's in the Montini singlet that you've seen so many times already tonight. And Richards, I really like him. I've got a chance to watch him a lot from Carbondale, way down southern part of the state, coached by Dennis Reagan, a great coach, and he was put in our high school Hall of Fame here this weekend, so it's got to be a proud moment for him as a coach and just an individual.
Well, he's had quite an impressive career, and he's looking to top it off here with a state championship. And Chris Garcia, quite frankly, is looking to make a name for himself here as a sophomore.
And you mentioned Richard's going to go to the U of I. U of I's on a high part of their season right now. Boy, they're down for tomorrow. They're going to wrestle in the finals of the national duels. There's 4 teams left in it, and they won their regional to get to go down there. And I believe they draw Oklahoma State in the semis tomorrow.
Right. I talked with Coach Heffernan yesterday, and he mentioned to me he's having a whole lot of fun this year, and he said it's a lot more fun winning than it is losing.
Richards in on a shot, and he gets his 2 to lead 2-0, and yeah, Richards will do nothing but help them. So I'm always been a big fan of those college wrestling here, not only for Illinois and Northwestern. Both of them are quality programs, and I'm one of those ones I'd like to see more and more of our quality kids stay in the state to wrestle for him. Richards cuts him. He leads 2-1.
And Garcia has to do an excellent job here of establishing some control and some ties. You know, he's got to maintain his offense, but at the same time, you know, he's got to try to weather the storm here and get deep into this match with an opportunity to slow Richards down.
Again, the deeper he takes it and he can keep it close, just the one time hit something and win it. That's all you can ask for when maybe you're a little bit of an underdog.
Right. You know, and as a sophomore, I think Chris is really one of Montini's most technically sound wrestlers. I think he does an excellent job, and once he, grows and matures a little bit, gets a little stronger and bigger, he's going to really be a force. Not that he isn't already, being a 2-time place winner already.
And we mentioned, or we'll talk about later on, the dual team, which is the sectionals are Tuesday night, and then the finals are next Saturday over at Bloomington, and you can watch them again here on the IHSA feed. And Montini prohibitive favorites in this particular thing. And I noticed from what I've seen, a very young team. A lot of these kids will be back next year, so the future's bright over there for you at Montini.
Yeah, it is. And, the coaches there are doing a great job. Coach Israel Martinez, and as I mentioned before, John Jevikovsky, has been a steadying force there for a while, and so they're keeping it rolling, and they've got 9 place winners in this tournament this weekend, so they did an outstanding job. Second period now.
Richards gets the escape, and he leads 3-1. And again, Garcia's done exactly like you said, trying to slow it down, stay as close as possible, and how they do warn him for stalling.
Well, he slowed it down a little too much there.
That's fine. Warning doesn't hurt you. Sometimes a good referee will just hit you with that warning just to kind of remind you. It doesn't cost you. It's the point that's going to kill you eventually, so you want to make sure that doesn't occur. But watching Richard's stance, I just don't see anything yet that he's opened up to give Garcia any chance at all to score.
Well, Garcia, he's done a good job Richard's done a good job of forcing him to the edge, and he's having a tough time getting his offense going. And that's, sometimes the difference between a younger kid and a veteran like Richards. And as I mentioned before, being a Fargo junior national champion and the resume that he has, I mean, he's he's been there before, and he's been in a lot of tough matches.
I believe Richards lost the Missouri boy. Was that down in the Granite City Invitational?
I believe it was.
Well,
yeah.
That's a quality invitation. We had a chance through Mattman to go down there and cover it a couple years ago. And, boy, there's some great teams they bring in out of Missouri and so on. I know you guys go up to the Dvorak, and that's one of the top tournaments as far as getting top schools and so on. Maybe give us a little background on the Dvorak tournament.
Well, the Dvorak is, especially in Northern Illinois, the teams that are, the best teams have traditionally gone there, and it's shaped up to be a great tournament. It's moved a couple of times. Glenbard East High School started the tournament many years ago, and was actually named, the namesake Alan Dvorak was a wrestler at East who died in a tragic motorcycle accident. And they moved it to Dundee Crown and now Harlem High School, and it's just a meat grinder of a tournament. And a lot of these matches here are that you see matchups that happen in the Dvorak. And nice thing is the 2A kids that are involved in it and the 3A kids, they wrestle and they get some bragging rights because that's the only time they're going to meet. Because they don't have the same state series, so it's a great opportunity, and really attracts the top teams, at least in the northern half of the state.
Well, and that's what makes it nice. You talk about all the traveling you have to do sometimes. Boy, if you can get a great tournament and not have to travel too far. And I know Mick Torres runs it up there for them, and he treats us well through Illinois Mattman. We come up and cover it, and they do a great job. Their athletic director also takes good care of us and runs a quality tournament as far as the behind-the-scenes type of thing.
Mm-hmm. There's another stalling call there.
That's the killer right there.
Richards is, control. And Garcia, I don't think he's necessarily stalling. I just don't think he can score.
Yep. Richards wrestles, I always call it the Iowa style. Just a perfect position coming at you, under control the whole time. And he'll lead 4-1. But again, if Garcia can get out here, get his point, he's within the takedown to win, or to tie it at least in the final 2 minutes. Again, Richards breaks him flat. Notice how he stays tight on the hips, trying to slide in the leg, and he's got it in. Uses the same ride Pierce did. Again, both kids from the southern part of the state. Maybe they learn the things together.
Garcia's going to learn the hard way here that he wasted some motion off the whistle with that switch sitting on his hip like that, and now he's getting his arm gingerly ripped out of his socket right here.
Well, and the ref did a nice job of saving his shoulder because he gave him a potentially dangerous.
He needs to get his weight out in front of him and explode and get to his feet. He sits on his hip like that. He's just playing right into Zane Richards' hand.
So we'll see. 4-1, minute 38 left.
It's a little better position there. That's better.
So again, hopefully Richard just has a great career at the University of Illinois. You mentioned Coach Heffernan. He's got that program going right now. I believe they're ranked in the top 6, and they beat Cornell to get to the Final Four in the national duels. And Cornell was one of the schools they talked about that have a chance maybe to win the national tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big win for them. And obviously he's done a great job. He's brought in some excellent assistants, and he's making a jump and wanted to change a few things around. And I think Mark Johnson, in his tenure down here, everyone knows Mark. Mark was an excellent coach, and besides that, he was just one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet.
Great individual.
And I think the tradition is going to carry on.
We're at 55 seconds left in the third period. And again, while we watch this, you've talked a little bit about the Fargo success some of these kids have had. Illinois I won't use the word might, we'll use the word is, the most dominant state as far as success in the freestyle and Greco. And it's just through the state organization, so well run by our people. Great coaches get involved with it. The kids buy into it, and we've just been very successful both in the individual part and the team parts in the Greco and freestyle.
Well, and that's where a lot of the success starts. A lot of these guys, you have to do that. If you want to be an elite wrestler, you want to get an edge, you want to get the jump on your competition. That's where it's all at. And you can trace the kids that are out there and those kind of kids that are doing those things. That are, they're doing an excellent job. And you look across the country, not just the state of Illinois, but, we go out to the Ironman and some of those tournaments out there. You see the results from the Beast of the East, and, you see those same names out at Fargo. It's no coincidence.
So, again, Richards leads 4-1, 25 seconds left. And it looks like he's going to win his second consecutive state championship. We're inside 15 right now. And again, I'll mention it again, he's coached by Dennis Reagan, great individual coach, working down there in Southern Illinois, down in Carbondale. I believe his daughter wrestled for him and did some great things. I'm not sure she's still active on the freestyle scene or not, but just a great individual and a great win for the southern part of the state.
Well, that was a great match, and give Chris Garcia some credit too.
Hung in there.
Zane Richards is obviously one of the big names in this tournament at any level, any class, 1, 2, or 3A, and he's certainly the cream of the crop. So congratulations.
And Garcia took him to a 4-2 match. He was right in it at the end, just couldn't quite finish things. So again, we'll take a minute or so here, give you a chance to watch the awards being passed out, and we'll come back with our 138-pound match in just a couple minutes. All right, here we're about all set to go to our 138-pound match. And Coach, give us some background on the two boys we'll have out here at 138.
Well, we have a matchup that occurred earlier in the season, so this is a rematch at the Dvorak tournament we were just talking about. Clayton Lutzow from Crystal Lake Central. He's a senior. He's 37-4. And from Marmion, Angelo Silvestro. He's 41-4. A senior, and when they met in the Dvorak semifinals, Lutzow won a tough 9-7 match. Lutzow is also a place winner from last year, finished 4th last year.
And he'll be in the black singlet. Silvestro will be in the Marmion blue with the white or silver stripe on the side. Lutzow's coached by Justin Lear, and Crystal Lake's really had a lot of success in the last couple years. Justin's done a tremendous job with them. And then we're all familiar with Marmion, how they've grown to become a very solid AA program. And this kind of a special moment also for one of Marmion's coaches, Joe Silvestro, Angelo's dad. Anytime you get a chance to coach your boy in the state finals, it's got to be quite a thrill for him.
I'm sure it is.
And again, Silvestro's one of those ones like Coach talked about earlier from Marmion that's hard to score on, but again, not real athletic where they're going to score a lot of points themselves. So look for this to be probably a low-scoring type of match.
And Silvestro is also, I'm not confirmed on this, but I believe that he was going to wrestle next year at Cornell. From what I heard. So I know he's an excellent student and, looking at an Ivy League school. So, good luck to him with that.
Because we just talked about a couple minutes ago what a great program they have on the college level.
Lutzow, I remember him as a freshman, and he was a 130-pounder and wrestled in the duels. We saw him. He was a backup, and, he really has worked very hard to get to this level and done an excellent job.
That's the one thing, Crystal Lake, they've done a nice job raising their program to one of the more competitive ones on the AA level. And didn't they and Marmion meet last year for the final? Or was that the championship? Or not Marmion, I'm sorry, Montini in the final.
Right, yeah, Justin Lehrer has done an excellent job over there at Crystal Lake. And he's had some great talent, and, you'll see another one coming up later with Gage Hurrah, and of course they had Marston from last year, and the list goes on. So they haven't had quite the dual success or team success this year, but they still have a pocket of individuals that's doing an outstanding job.
Silvestro scores on the shot at the edge of the mat, and he leads 2-0 with 34 seconds left in the first period. And we mentioned their team success. They'll be part of the dual teams sectionals next week. I believe they take on Niles Notre Dame, and they're part of it. And the winner of that would feed into the Montini Lincoln Way West in the first round on Saturday morning. So that's a pretty good side of a bracket, because I think Niles Notre Dame's ranked 3rd and Montini 1st as far as the AA team.
That's not to mention, actually, I was out at the regional and the sectional last couple weeks, and I'll tell you, if Montini is the number 1 ranked team in the state, then Lamont High School has got to be number 2. They had an outstanding performance down here this weekend, and from what I've seen, they really unfortunately had to be in the same regional as Montini, but I don't think there's a lot of teams out there that could handle them, and they just had the misfortune of being in the regional with Montini.
Period ends 2-1. Silvestro in the lead. And through Illinois Mapman, we did an interview yesterday with Craig Anderson that's going to be on the website here probably tomorrow. And Craig kind of addressed that situation, how in the future maybe they'll go to a situation where the top 2 teams from each regional get to advance. That That way, in this case, Lamont would still be in it as far as being able to do things. It's a great interview. Craig does a great job of going through some of the different aspects of wrestling, potential changes, potential complaints people have. So if you get a chance, get on the website and watch it and maybe make some comments as far as what you think about it.
Right. Well, it is a system, and I know we can talk about it at length. It's an ever-changing situation, and but there are some things that need to be looked at. But right here, we got a 2-2 match, and again, shaping up to be just like the previous match they had at the Dvorak. Looks like it's going to go down to the wire.
Again, Silvestro in the blue, Letzau in the black. Single 2-2, minute 20 left, second period. Letzau just kind of drive through that. Nice, just an aggressive shot. Really didn't set it up with much. Just came real hard to the right leg. Silvestro throws on a whizzer. That's the one thing I'm seeing quite a bit in this the counter to a lot of these takedowns. The kids flip that whizzer in real quick and are able to get their hips back to where they want them.
Well, that's obviously a skill that some things are still very basic. From when we learned to wrestle many years ago. That's the way that you need to control that opponent and not let him climb up your body to score. And of course, being able to fend off a single leg with that. When you work in that whizzer wrist series, I know as a coach we spent an awful lot of time drilling that situation. I once read something where Dan Gable said that the most important position in wrestling is learning how to finish and learning how to defend the high single position. Now, you could be talking about an offensive attack where you get a single leg takedown to come up, or you could be talking about if you're the offensive wrestler and the defensive man gets to his feet and you get in that high single position. And I thought a lot about that comment and really looked and found it to be quite true. And we really spent a lot of time working on that position.
Yeah, the key part there, you said be able to finish. You can teach any boy a double leg takedown, but what do you do when he counters your double? What's your counter back? What's his counter back? It's all in, I call it at least scrambling, where you get in positions that maybe aren't textbooks, but you know how to get your hips and your head in the correct spot to earn the points.
No doubt about it.
We're inside 5 seconds here, and Letzau gets a
stalling call on Silvestro.
Big call there late in the match.
Silvestro's tough on the edge here.
Yeah.
Oh.
And no point awarded yet on the stall, though, but because they warned him, now the next one would be a point. And Silvestro's grabbing his right knee again. I think he hurt that in the semifinals also.
He's going to take injury time.
So we're 2-2 in the third. And you got to assume Silvestro take bottom, probably earn his point to take a 3-2 lead. Then he just has to be careful. He's been warned for stalling.
Well, he needs to definitely still be on the offense. Letzau is too good of a counter wrestler, and there's no way that he's going to be able to do that. And that's what the Marmion coaches are telling him right now.
That's always the misconception that kids get. I've got the lead, I'm just going to protect it. Sometimes it's better just to maintain what you do best and go after it and try and increase that lead instead of playing a lot of defense. And again, the training staff down here has been great too. We got to give them some credit. Boy, it's been a lot of injury types of things, and they've been out there right away getting these kids back if possible. Unfortunately, we've had a few boys who haven't been able to continue, but that staff done a great job.
Well, I think the IHSA medical doctor, Dr. Fuentes, I got to give a shout out to my guy. I've known Dr. Fuentes for a long time, and the training staff here is first class, and kind of like everything else in this tournament, to be honest with you. It's been a great situation.
And he just cut him to start the third period, so Silvestro will lead 3-2. He's on a nice shot. He's got to keep the toes in. There should be the 2.
There you go.
So that'd be 5-2. Now he just has to be careful. Minute and 41 left. In my mind, probably the only thing that can beat him, some type of stalling call. So he just has to be active if he can.
Well, again, Letzau's gonna try to open up, get to his feet, and good job by Angelo on top. He really survived that initial burst. He's going to take another 20 or 25 seconds off the period with a good ride here. Excellent job.
Yep. As long as he stays active with his hands, they won't break it for a stalemate or a stall, and he keeps working him. Got that nice tight waist, keeping the hips in position and using his right hand. Now he switches off to a right-handed tight waist. And notice where he is, right at the edge. If he gets in trouble, he just can bail him out of bounds just like that, gets a fresh start. And here's where Letzau, he's got to make something happen here right away.
Well, he's got to get to his feet. He's got to be able to push the pace neutral and at least get a stalling call and try to set up that odd point where a takedown can give him the win. But Silvestro's doing a good job on top.
Got to the ankle very well off the top.
Again, he's wasting his time there with that sit out. I think he's got to. Now
he's up off of it eventually. Get him out of bounds. Yep.
But the problem with that is, he gave him the one.
All right, 5-3. Well, we couldn't really see a whole lot there. The scorer's table was in our way, but referee definitively called it, and he had perfect position to see it. So it's 5-3. Now Lutzow's back in the match. He's got the stalling warning in his belt, and so a takedown would tie it, and the takedown and no stalling would win it for him. He's in on a nice shot. Whizzer in against him.
There's that whizzer wrist position.
Now he broke the whizzer off.
Silvestro scores off of it. Off that. We used to call that the Northern Plains position.
So he leads 7-3 inside 30 seconds left. And now we're going to get a stalemate. Once again, the coach is telling him to get to that ankle quickly. Don't let him get to his feet. So let's see what the bottom boy tries to do. Coach, you mentioned he needs to get to his feet as quick as possible.
Right.
Not there for him. He's going to really struggle now last 20 seconds. Silvestro steps over the leg. Now he's just holding on for dear life. We're inside 10 seconds. 7-3 Silvestro from Marmion with the lead. And stalemates it with 5. And we'll have our 2012 state champion at 138 pounds, Angelo Silvestro. And again, need to mention it, his father's one of the assistant coaches there at Marmion. It's great feeling coaching your son, first of all, and to have your boy be a state champion and be able to share that with him. That's a unique feeling for a parent.
And also got to give credit to Dean Brandstetter, Dean the head coach, and in a short time has done an excellent job with that Marmion program. And he is he's been the guy that's been there from the beginning.
Yep.
And I remember when he first came on, and I talked to him several times, and he's very proud of the success that they've had. So congratulations to Dean for another state champion.
Yep, they brought that program. Now it's where we need to get more programs. People who want to take that program to the next level, wrestle at the national level, take some chances, and so on. So again, we're about ready to start our match here at 145. And we'll go ahead. Why don't we just go ahead, Coach, and give some background on these kids to get it started at 145 pounds. 2 kids from the southern part of the state, which is very unusual for us.
Well, and this is a grudge match here. These guys have met several times during the season. Le'Veon Mays from Mascoutah is 42-1, and his only loss during the season was to Bernard Grant from Cahokia. So, but last week Mays beat him 2-1 in the sectional. So again, two kids that have probably wrestled 3 or 4 times this year. They're going to be very familiar with each other. And, you did mention that these 2 young men are from the southern part of the state. They've done an excellent job. And as we saw on the Jumbotron video to start today, they're making a lot of strides down in southern Illinois, and there's a lot of people that have been integral in promoting wrestling down there over the years and kind of breaking down some barriers. And so obviously this is proof of it here that these 2 young men are in the state final match.
And being from the central part of the state, we need to take a look at what they've done down in the South in order to get our programs moving in that direction, because the South right now, they're a threat. You really, you got to respect a lot of the different programs. Granite City, one of the most decorated programs over the course of many years. I believe they've got the most dual meet wins in the nation as far as a school. Edwardsville's right there. As you can see, Cahokia, we've mentioned Bethalto, Carbondale, a lot of them down there starting to catch up with you northern schools. And we need to get the central part of the state getting up there also. So here we go. We're at 145 pounds. Cahokia will be in the white singlet, and the boy from Mascoutah, Mays, will be in the purple singlet.
Again, both of these guys are seniors, and as we said, they've met several times over the years. While we're waiting here, Connor Bass from Yorkville finished 3rd in this weight class. And a fourth-place finisher was Dalton Coleman from Mount Zion, also more or less a Southern school.
Yeah, Yorkville, again, won their regional. They beat Marmion in the individual regionals, so they'll qualify for the sectionals on Tuesday. Their first-round opponent will be Washington, and the other part of that sectional will be Rock Island, who's ranked 9th in the state, against Sycamore, ranked 7th. And then those two winners actually meet in the quarterfinals, which is kind of a unique situation where they go through the two same teams from the sectional meet in the first round at the state.
Right.
And again, the dual part of it, I know you've had a lot of success with it. Again, I know you like both of them, but which one's your favorite, the individual part or the dual teams?
Well, I think they're two separate things. I mean, you can't beat this weekend down here at the individual tournament. But
that's the best of the best.
Right,
yes.
but at the same time, I think the dual tournament concept has done a lot for the state of Illinois in promoting wrestling within schools and to a lot of different kids that, quite frankly, wouldn't have some of the experiences if the state tournament, state championship were awarded to the top individual tournament team. So I think the dual is really good for wrestling. I really wish that some of the same popularity would be there as there is for this. But I mean, this is such an event. It's just so hard to top.
Yeah, nice blast double there in order to get the 2 for Mays. He leads 2-0. Again, the reason I like the duels is, like you said, you can take an average boy who may never even get down here, definitely not a placer. He could be instrumental in you winning a duel. Maybe he doesn't even win his match, but he just goes out against a quality boy and just gives up the 3 for a decision, or maybe comes through and wrestles another average to good person and gets you a big win in order to help you win the duel.
Right. As we have injury time here, you're right, and I think that's something I will tell you in all my years of coaching, and we're fortunate enough to have a lot of dual experience, and more often than not, it's not those superstars, it's not those top line kids that decide those matches. It really comes down to the I call them program kids.
Exactly.
And it's a kid that does a good job and holds a score tight, or on paper is a big underdog and doesn't get majored or doesn't get teched or pinned for that matter. And then you see some upsets. You spoke about Tuesday night. I always have referred to it as Upset Tuesday. It's if there's going to be upsets in the dual team tournament, many of them happen on Tuesdays. And that's because now you're wrestling down here. You got a lot of kids, not coincidentally, I should say, that their success that they have down here, and they have a lot of kids, and they're on those dual teams. And how do you get a state champion to get his head out of the clouds and be ready to wrestle Tuesday? Or, the same opposite extreme, how do you get a kid who just lost down here in the state final match and didn't get his dream, and he's got to turn around and get ready to wrestle Tuesday? So it's a difficult thing for these coaches to do.
Yeah, Mays has a 6-3 lead. Looked awful impressive on his feet with 3 nice shots in order to score.
Well, he's definitely coming in this match. I haven't seen these boys wrestle before, but with the scouting report, they've been close matches, and last week was a 2-1 match. And Mays looks like he's made a conscious effort here to really open up the score.
It's been very aggressive so far. Again, getting back to the dual part of it. Oh, nice blast double right again for 2 more, and puts him on his hip. Again, the scores table kind of hurts our vision as far as some of this. I don't think he got the near fall off of it. Off the dual part, how difficult is it to get your kids, I use the word excited, back up after a tough weekend down here to come out on Tuesday night and be able to perform again?
Well, that's the key, and the problem is because you got about 3 or 4 different levels of kids you're dealing with. You got a kid that's riding sky high because he just won a state championship or just got his medal. You got kids that are on the opposite end of the spectrum that are crushed. You got kids that haven't wrestled in 3 weeks because they lost in the regional or the sectional or what have you. And you got kids that are, JV kids that you might use to bump weights around. Also, that's the challenge. You got about 4 different types of kids you got to get ready for Tuesday night, and it's a full-time job, and that's why you'll see you can always tell down here the coaches that have kids in the duels. I always kind of feel sorry for those when they're still alive because they don't celebrate much down here. They always got something else on their mind.
We have a 1 point for Muscuda getting an illegal head snap or possibly grabbing the headgear for the boy from Cahokia, so now the score is 9-4. But again, Tuesday night at various locations will be our team sectionals, and then Saturday over in Bloomington at 9 and 11 are the quarters for all three classes. 2 o'clock's the semis, and then 6 o'clock would be the championship matches.
Another takedown there. Boy, he's very quick.
Yeah, he's putting on a nice show here for himself. Levon Mays out of Muscuda, and he leads 11-4. Again, he's going to cut him again. Seems to like to be on his feet quite a bit, and as of right now, he's done a tremendous job of getting in on some shots. Again, the coaches here, Chris Whalen coaches down at Cahokia, and Chris Lindsay is the coach over at Muscuda. And like we've talked about, they're instrumental in helping that whole area bring their programs up to this level where now they're able to have boys in the state finals. We've already seen 5 or 6 kids from the South, and we're halfway through the weight classes.
Still just under a minute left here in the second period, and
Cahokia boys trying to slow him down by tying up so he can't shoot that blast double on him. Again, we go out of bounds, 42 seconds left, 11-5. Again, the IHSA does a great job of setting this up for you. Hopefully you appreciate you've been able to watch all weekend. No cost to you, every match, as far as they've streamed them to you, and now for the finals. And you can purchase a DVD through it. Just go to the IHSA website and click on some buttons there, and you'll be able to get to the DVD section if you'd like to get one of these. Get a chance to see the Grand March, the Jumbotron, all those different things that make this such a great evening of wrestling.
20 seconds left here in the second period. And,
keep the toes in if he can. He hasn't scored yet. Tried to drag him. Didn't quite get it done. 11-5, 15 seconds left. Again, we'll go to in 7 seconds. We're going to go to the third period. Got to look at the boy. Look at it from the Cahokia boy's point of view. He's 6 down. Really hasn't done real well yet. What do you do if you're his coach? What do you tell him in the last 2 minutes to try and get done?
No, he's got to get some success here, and whatever he can do to get a quick takedown. And he's got to get a couple of reshot opportunities. He keeps trying to slide by, but he's given up too much ground on that. In order for a slide by to be effective, you got to have some, force or penetration from your opponent.
I'm sure you, as all coaches, work on. If you're down 6, you got to have some type of throw, upper body thing where you're taking the boy directly to his back. Do you start working on that right away now in the third period, or you wait a little bit?
I mean, early in the third period, there would have been, just to get an offensive, point situation. To get some momentum going, and now it's a different story. Now he's going to have to, look for something big to try to pin and end the match. But much different match than we anticipated. Again, from what I heard last week, was a 2-1 match and kind of a grudge match. They'd seen each other several times. Usually, when you have that, you have more of a tight match, and Mays really opened up today.
He's been impressive with these shots he's been putting on. Keep the toes in. Nice job. Boy from Cahokia, again, tried to throw him, just was out of bounds as far as doing some things. And we're 13-6 with 50 seconds to go here in the third period.
Gant's putting a little pressure on there now. He's going to try to drive in and get him off balance, set him up for a throw or something that he can trip to his back, fireman, something of that nature.
Like we said, got to try something here. Doesn't matter if you lose by 7 or 10 in this particular situation. We'll see what he's got here as far as a throw, something directly to his back. And the boy from Muscuda, Mays, he just wants to make sure that doesn't happen. Maybe just keep shooting his double, getting in there low and tight so he can't be thrown.
Well, as a coach, this is where you wish you could. Nice duck. This is where you wish you had a radio and you really want to tell your guy, but you can't yell it out loud. There's no need to be offensive here now. Just stay in block stay in a good position, keep your elbows in, don't give him any openings. I mean, that's really what you want to do, and of course you can't yell that from the corner because referees don't want to hear that.
No, they don't want to hear that word. That right away, that hand will come up for the stalling.
Well, he's done a nice job.
Yeah,
very good offensive show here by Mays, and he was quite impressive in winning the state championship.
So he'll be our state champion at 145 pounds. There's our first backflip of the night, and that's Levon Mays representing Mascoutah High School. So we're going to take a break, give you some awards here in just a minute. We'll be back with our 152-pound match shortly. All right, now we're ready for our 152-pound matchup, and give us some background on the two boys we'll have out here.
Well, we have a junior from Sycamore, Austin Colton. He's 34-4, and he had a real big win in the semifinals last night over the number 1 seed, the boy from Crystal Lake, Fugio. And also his opponent from Lamont is Jake Kaminsky. He's a senior, 43-3. And neither of these boys have placed, so they've both parlayed their first experience deep into the tournament here to the finals, and obviously one of them is going to be a state champ.
Kaminsky will be in the white singlet, Colton's in the black singlet, and Kaminsky, like you said, he's from Lamont High School, and Lamont came out of that tough sectional where Montini was and so on. And I got a chance to watch Colton last week at our sectional at Sterling and really enjoy watching him do things. Again, not real active, just stays in good body position. And like you said, he had a huge win for himself, 7-4 last night in the semifinals. So again, look for this probably to be a low-scoring type of match where neither boy wants to make a mistake and maybe do something silly.
Well, these Lamont middle upper weight guys, they're some bruisers. I mean, they do an excellent job. They're very physical. And, it's obviously obvious that they've spent a lot of hours in the weight room, too. So, two physical-looking kids here.
And, the Lamont boys coached by John St. Clair. Alex Nelson's the head coach there at Sycamore. And I know Lamont had a pretty solid football team this year. And you also a football coach there at Montini. Do you have a lot of success with your football players coming out and helping you on the wrestling program, and also your wrestlers? How much do they contribute to the football teams at these schools?
Well, I think it's, schools our size have to share athletes to be successful. There's no doubt about it. And, Coach St. Clair has done a super job over there with this Lamont program. If you look at them in the last few years, they've got several state trophies and over the last couple of years. And, they're building. They're right there. And again, when you look at these guys wrestle down here, which is, the true test before the duels, there's no doubt that Lamont this year, is the second best team in the state. And, of course, upsets can happen next week. I understand that. But they had 10 state qualifiers, I believe. And, they got some pretty physical kids. And it's, again, unfortunate that they were in the same regional as Montini.
Yeah, it makes it kind of tough because that's second year in a row. I believe that happened last year. Marmion and Montini were in the same regional.
Yeah, and again, obviously Marmion was by far the second best team in the state last year, and I guess it's a system. Montini, I know for I think in 3 years' time, Montini's been at. This year they were at Evergreen Park for a regional. Last year they were at Yorkville. The year before that, they were at Fenton. So we've kind of been all over, and it's kind of hard to tell sometimes where we're going to end up being. But again, it was a negative situation. But I know the Lamont boys. I know those coaches pretty well, and they told their kids they were very excited about the individual tournament this weekend, and boy, they just had a great tournament. I think they're in second place actually down here in the unofficial team standings.
Well, that's the one thing we discussed with Craig yesterday. It'll be part of the thing on the website. What's the chances of maybe scoring this as a team thing, like most regular season tournaments are, and actually have two state champions for teams, one from here and one from the duel? And he seemed pretty receptive. You have to listen to see what he says on the thing. We're in the second period. The boy from Lamont, Kaminsky, gets his escape. He'll lead 1-0 with 1:35 left.
Well, I remember one time a few years back I had a very in-depth talk with Dave Ganaway, and Dave, of course, is who preceded Craig as the wrestling director for the IHSA, and Dave made it pretty clear to me that the IHSA feels very strongly that every other sport within the IHSA crowns one state champion a year, and it would be very difficult to try to sell to them why wrestling would be any different and have to crown 2 state champions a year. And unfortunately, if you think about that logically, it does make some success, make sense. We don't necessarily like to hear it, but I think that's really it's just not going to change. I think the collegiate way, the duels are kind of an unofficial, not sponsored by the NCAA, but there's a lot of prestige in winning that. But again, I just think if you really look at what's been good for the state of Illinois, I think the duels have really helped the sport grow since I think 1983 when they started. So I just think it's something that we just have to find the right combination, and maybe it seems like the venue we have is working pretty well, but I just think sometimes tweaking the system might be the answer.
Again, Kaminsky's trying to be active to get Colton out of his stance and get him moving a little bit, because as we mentioned at the start, he likes to keep it very methodical and slow you down. So we're at 35 seconds left, 1-0 in favor of the boy from Lamont.
Again, these Lamont boys, they're very physical, and obviously they're very strong in terms of their basic techniques and skills. So it's hard to score on them with their strength, and also again with that technique. So they are a lot of low-scoring matches, but some of the boys in those upper weights, they can throw too.
Well, like he said, you'll be very impressed with their physical size when you get a chance to see some of their kids. Colton just gets warned for stalling inside 10 seconds left here in the second period. Kaminsky's trying to spin and get the takedown right here at the edge, and it's not going to work out for him. 2 seconds left. And we'll go to the third. Colton will have choice. We'll assume he's going to take bottom. He's going to need to get his point to make it 1-1. He just has to be careful now because he has been warned for stalling.
A nice job being physical there. Brought him down to the mat pretty hard.
It looks like he stunned him, if nothing else. Colton stays down. We'll start injury time.
And that's obviously something as a coach you love to see that, but it's part of sometimes your biggest nightmare too, when you worry about the slam situation, and it's always a problem. So obviously there was nothing called there.
No, he brought him down hard but legal is what it amounts to there. He dropped him, and that's the one big thing. Referees try and protect the kids as much as possible with the potentially dangerous calls. So when they continue, we'll be just starting the third period. Colton will be trailing 1-0.
Well, this injury time is, now he's sitting up. Well, he's dinged a little bit worse than I thought he was. Looks like he's having trouble catching his breath.
Yeah,
I don't know if
exactly.
he's... Well, of course, the new rules with the
now they're on blood time.
The new rules with concerning the trainers and doctors now. Obviously, concussions are a big buzzword, and so as you know, and wrestling is with all the other sports in the IHSA. Those doctors have an awful lot of say now. And trainers can really they supersede the official and the coaches and the athletes, of course, and they can decide when an athlete can't continue because of concussion-like syndrome.
Yeah, that's been the big thing as far as all sports. I know in football you have to deal with it quite a bit, and they get it started here again. Colton got to his feet, but they said he started too soon. Now they got the blood going again, it looks like.
This could be cleanup time, or maybe Kaminsky's bleeding now.
Yeah, exactly. They started a blood clock on him. Again, the Assembly Hall's rocking tonight. You get to watch 3 different matches, AA and AAA, and you're seeing some real good ones on the other match while ours is in blood time here.
Yeah, there's some barn burners going on next to us over here.
And the Class A people, I always say they're crazy. Boy, I think the whole town shows up every once in a while to watch them. They make a lot of noise and do a real good job of supporting their programs. you'll see that next week down in the dual part. The place will be packed on the Class A end.
Well, and that's, something, too, that, for many years we were a Class A program, and, we experienced that, and I used to hear the whispers and the rumors that, people don't care what happens on the Class A mat and those kind of things like that. And that was a shame that people had that type of a view, and I think that when you look at today, look at the crowds, look at the support they have, it's certainly not the truth. And that's what makes wrestling a great sport.
Look at the Class A end, and it's just as filled as the AAA end. And you come down to Bloomington next weekend and you watch these people support their programs, and you'll see that that's definitely not true, that the Class A fans, they love their programs just as much as these bigger schools do.
Yeah.
So, again, we're still on blood time over there, so we're kind of a delay in the action here.
Now it's cut. Looks like we're going to get going here.
Okay, again, we're 1:55 left, third period. Colton right away gets to his feet. Needs to stay up there. He's looking for the big points instead, trying to throw him. Whoa, Matt returned him very hard to his back.
I think we're going to get another injury situation here.
Yeah, he definitely got hit.
This could be a bad. Now they call a slam.
They're going to call a slam. So this will be recovery time now.
This is going to be very interesting, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think this trainer's going to let him get up.
He's definitely.
And it's a tough situation, because the young man that's laying down right now, he certainly has no control over what's going on. And I know there'll be boos, and I know that people will feel that if he is not able to go, that he won his title unmerited, but that's certainly not the case, and I just think that's something.
He's on his feet, and he says he's...
Wow, that's fantastic.
And again, that didn't count as injury time because he was hurt on an illegal move. And now it looks like he's bleeding, so we'll be on some blood time here for a while. Again, while we have a minute, let's get back to the duels this weekend as far as how they set up. Top part of the bracket, Yorkville would be the top team ranked-wise. They'll run into Washington. Winner of that goes against Rock Island or Sycamore in the quarterfinals. Next part of the brackets, Antioch and St. Pat's on Tuesday night. They'd wrestle the winner of the King-Bowen match. And then the bottom part of the bracket, Triad and Chatham wrestle each other, Bloomington and Taylorville. And then the two winners meet in the quarters. And then the bottom part, Crystal Lake against Niles Notre Dame, Montini against Lincoln Way West. And looking at how it breaks down as far as stuff goes, Montini, number 1, could face Niles Notre Dame, number 3, in the quarters. And in the top part, Yorkville could face either Rock Island, number 9, or Sycamore, number 7, are probably the marquee matchups. So Montini got a pretty tough draw here. They had Lamont early, number 2, and then they'd have Niles Notre Dame, assuming, like you say, things pan out. They still have to get by Lincoln Way West.
No doubt about it. But Brian Glenn does a great job over there at Lincoln Way West. And here we're back to action now.
Because of the penalty point, Colton, they cut him, or he got the escape. He now leads 2-1. Remember, he has been warned for stalling with 1 minute and 25 seconds. This has been a tough match to referee and also to wrestle, because there's been so many stoppages for blood and other types of things. You can't really get any type of fluidness going for the boys.
Well, it's a match right now of just bursts.
Yeah.
They take a 30-second, 1-minute break. They go back to the middle. There's a burst, and then they have to stop. And, yeah, it is very difficult to get things rolling. But, the complexion, it looked for a while there that, Austin was in a little bit of trouble there from Sycamore, and it looked like, he was going to have to deal with those injuries. And I thought he was going to be almost medically disqualified, and he's kind of turned the tables here, and he looks like he's in a good position right now.
Yeah, but as long as he can avoid the stalling call, he's done a nice job as far as countering everything that Kaminsky's brought to him.
145, seated in the awards area. We need all award winners at 145.
Well, getting back to the dual team tournament, I mean, all these teams and the way the bracket's set out, again, Tuesday night's a big night, and a lot of upsets across the state. 1A, 2A, and 3A happen there, and course, anything can happen on that dual Saturday, and that's again, I think it's a different type of excitement, a different kind of pressure and intensity that if you haven't been to the duels out there, even if you don't have a team involved, it's a great thing. Go out and support it, and those boys work just as hard and wrestle just as hard as these superstars that are down here as individuals, even though they're not always the kids that represent us down here. But just a great situation for Illinois wrestling.
And what better way to spend a day sitting watching wrestling and get to watch. I believe they'll run 6 mats actually all day long as far as things go. Kaminsky's really working hard here. I think he's looking to get the stalling call because Colton's going to be real hard for him to score against. 45 seconds left, 2-1. Colton would lead. Colton again's in the black singlet. Give him a stalemate call there. A little bit of a head snap. Kaminsky really trying to be active with him. 30 seconds in the match. Colton's doing enough in my mind, Coach, to avoid that stall, and he drops in and then comes up.
Yeah, he's reshooting. He's doing an excellent job of working there. Now under the 15 seconds. This is the tough part right here.
Yep, right now he's got to control the elbow.
Open up.
Boy, he's really trying to snap that head. Kaminsky is to try and spin behind him. Just needs to bail out and get out of bounds. We're at 3 seconds left. Just has to avoid something silly here. Just stay low. We're going to have a blood stoppage. Again, your state champion, Class AA at 152 pounds, will be Austin Colton, the junior from Sycamore High School. And again, Sycamore will wrestle Rock Island in what should be a great duel. They were both in our sectional, and there's going to be some tremendous matches. In fact, Colton in the sectional final lost to Karras from Rock Island. And so they'll have a rematch Tuesday night, assuming they both put them out there at this weight class. So get over to Sycamore if you can to watch that particular duel.
Well, that's exactly the point we're making here. Now, here's this young man that obviously, as a junior, he's done an excellent job coming through the tournament, avenges some losses, and the boy that beat him in the sectional. Now he's got to wrestle that guy Tuesday night. He sees the success that this boy had, and he's going to come out breathing fire. And I tell you, more state champions get upset on that Tuesday night.
All right, here we go for a 160-pound match for the Class AA state championship. Coach, what do you have for us for these two boys?
Well, we've got a very intriguing matchup here. Obviously Dylan Reel from Washington, his senior, is 47-2. He's a 3-time finalist. He's already a 2-time state champion. This year, as I mentioned before earlier here in our broadcast, he went out to the Ironman and was a placer at the Ironman. That's where his only 2 losses happened. Austin Armetta is 38-1 as a senior from Muhammad Seymour, and his only loss this year was to Dylan Reel earlier in the year, a 15-11 match that, from what I understand, was pretty exciting, and a lot of points were flying there. So this could be a very intriguing matchup.
Reel will be in the black singlet, Armetta in the orange singlet, and Austin's coached by Rob Ledden down there in Mohammed, and Dylan's coached by Brian Medlin over in Washington. And we talked a little bit earlier about the success our freestyle and Greco teams have had, and Brian's one of our Greco coaches for the state of Illinois. So Dylan kind of grew up doing some Greco type of things. He's been able to do a real nice job using them in the folk style part of it also.
Well, both of these programs are, very rich in tradition, and this match, like I said, took place earlier in the year, and obviously this is, as it's starting out here, Dylan Reel is as decorated he is. He knows he's got a tough work ahead of him tonight here.
Yeah, he won the state championship as a freshman, as a sophomore, and last year in the semifinals, and just a great match. The boy from Montini beat him, and Dylan did come back and finish third.
Yeah, that was Dimitri Willis, and obviously that's, a big upset, last year, but it just goes to show you how difficult it is, as we just watched a couple matches ago, Bryce Brill go down over here to be a 4-time state champion, even a 3-time. Ooh, a nice duck under attempt there.
The move Dylan uses quite a bit. That's part of his Greco training. He likes to use that in what I call a slide-by type of thing in order to set some things up. Oh, he's got him locked up. We'll see when it becomes 2. Nope, he waved it off.
No score.
Yep. Again, he had him in position to score. The referee thought he had it, then did a nice job. I always like referees aren't afraid to say, gee, I called that too quick, and wave it off.
Well, and again, we talked about the referees earlier today, and boy, I tell you, if you've ever had to referee, and most coaches I know, you've been somewhere where a referee didn't show up and you got a JV match or something of that level, and things are happening. I'll tell you, how difficult it is, and you got to give a lot of credit to these guys, because we can all point to the 1 or 2 calls, every weekend down here that we think are terrible calls, and we talk about them for months and even years, but, it doesn't count the hundreds and literally thousands of calls they do an excellent job on, and really, make our state proud.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime somebody complains to me about a referee, I said, well, have you done it before? And if they say no, I said, well, then go do it for a while, and then you tell me how easy it is.
Big takedown by Real there at the end of the period. Now he's up 2-0, and, puts him in the driver's seat, obviously.
And this is where Dylan's improved quite a bit in the last couple years. He used to be basically takedown type of person. Now he does a much better job of riding and using some things on the mat to earn points. Again, nice tight hip ride. Look where his right hip is in there, real tight. Nice tight waist with his right hand. Now he's on his feet. Nice mat return. Well, we're seeing a lot of, I always call it the atomic drop, where they lift him and twist him in order to mat return him. That's how Colton got dinged up a little bit in the last match, actually.
Well, it's obviously a skill that needs to be drilled in a practice situation over and over again, because, many times that does come up in a match, and that's an old Iowa drill. Dan Gable.
Bounce them and bring them back up, huh?
Yep.
But that's exactly, many people think you just lift them and throw them. There's a lot more hip action in it than I think most people understand.
Well, it's leverage too. Obviously, you have to be able to get your weight underneath that weight that's moving, and the best ones are able to do that. You're right, and they lift with their hips and do.
Armeta's trying to get his hips out. He trails 2-0. Real looks like he's got an arm bar locked up. See if he can jump off to the side and do something constructive. Armeta's trying to get to his base, which he does. And he peels the arm bar off. We're at 55 seconds to go in the second period. Again, a ride out would be huge here for Real, because then he could take third period, take bottom, and pretty much have control of the match.
Under 40 here.
Armeta's on his feet again. Needs to get better hand control when he gets to his feet, maybe.
Well, that, and I think he's got to do a better job of anticipating when he's returned to the mat. He's got to be in a better position. He's got to bring his knees to his chest,
exactly,
and be able to explode from that position.
Yeah, because what you're saying is if you land on your belly, you're kind of in trouble.
No, Real cuts
Real
him
looks
under
like he
30
cut him
seconds
there. That was kind of big. Unless he thinks he can get a takedown here in the last 20, because we are inside 20 seconds to go in the second period. And Armeta, he just wants to get out of this period 2-1, and he's got a chance to win it. Again, collar tie up for both of them. They're just kind of wasting their time here. Let's get it to the third period. And we'll go there right now. Real will have choice. We have to assume he's going to take the bottom. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they get to their feet. I haven't really seen Armeta with much of an offense here, is doing things. See if he's going to be willing to open up early in the period if he does trail 3-1. Because there's the basic cut there. He didn't try and ride it too much. Real's got that Russian or 2-on-1 locked up, and that's always tough. Oh, nice spin out. Oh, no, that's
nope.
Good call.
Good call there by Shane Morgan on the edge.
Was originally going to give the 2 right away. Armeta flipped quicker than reaction, or for a reaction time situation, and avoided giving up the 2. I don't think he wants to tie up with Dylan here. I think he's better off shooting from a distance or doing something on the wrist instead of getting the hand behind the head there.
Well, that's a good point, and that's one of the things I know that over the years too, with your coaching staff, you talk about putting together a game plan, but it's very difficult, because if you coach a wrestler and he does something, and relies on that very heavily, it's very difficult to get him out of that habit. So
Dylan's got kind of a chest wrap locked up on him off the front headlock, and we're at 114, 3-1 in favor of Real. And Real White right away, he wants to get to that tie-up. Boy, he's reaching out and putting that hand in there.
It's obvious he feels very comfortable there. Now there's a stalling call on Armetta.
Again, doesn't hurt you at all. Ref's just saying, hey, be a little more active for me. There he tried kind of a head snap, something like that, to try and get Dillon out of position. But Real's really forcing the action with some nice hand fighting here. Oh, slide by for, there's nice. The two. Real nice move. So he'll lead 5-1 with about 40 seconds left. And I've got a great opportunity to watch Dillon grow up there. He's from the Washington High School, and that's in our area, and he's been real active in the freestyle Greco stuff. Always done well out in Fargo, and is part of Illinois' national team. So he's really put in the time and effort, and to be a potential three-time state champion here, it's quite a credit to him and their program over there.
Well, he's doing an excellent job on these leg attacks with that slide by, and then he threw that underhook over.
Now he seems to have a lot of confidence in what he's doing. He was kind of maybe tentative before, but he's really fired up. 16 seconds left. He'll lead 7-3.
Well, he's put on, a dominating performance here, and he's showing why he's, as you mentioned, going to go down in history as one of the best ever.
Yep, three-time state champion, one-time third place, and Scott, I know he holds the Greater Peoria area record. Now that's not good as far as stuff goes. Again, I always hope the kids handle their wins with a little bit of class and so on, but to flip his headgear down in the middle of the Class A mat as they were wrestling, that probably wasn't real good, but he's still a three-time state champion for us. Excellent job by Dillon Real. Okay, so we'll be coming to 171 pounds in just a moment. Again, give you a chance to maybe go out and get yourself a snack or something, and we'll be back after the awards. All right, Coach, we're at 170 pounds right now, and again, we're going to have another one of those kids from Lamont. Give us some background on him and the boy from Marion.
Well, the Lamont boy, Eric Kirkman, is a twin, actually. His twin brother is a 160-pounder, wrestle for Lamont, and he's another boy who's pretty physically imposing. He's 42-6 as a senior, and I know that one of the interesting things about him and talking to our coaches, he didn't start wrestling until he was a freshman in high school, so he's come a long way.
Yeah,
great credit to that young man here. His opponent from Chicago Heights, Marion Catholic, he's 38-1. I know his only loss this year was an illegal body slam, so technically he's undefeated. He placed 5th in the 3A state tournament last year, Nathan Jackson, and these two met last week, and Jackson kind of turned it on and took it to him and ended up tech falling him in the finals of the sectional, and he put on a clinic, and Jackson's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he looked real good in the semifinals, had a great match, got a technical fall actually. Had a real solid match in the quarterfinals against Tyndall from down there in Triad. Was a nice match to watch. And Tyndall had come into that one with a record of 46-1, so it was a real good quarterfinal. But he's just so active on his feet, and he'd been real impressive as far as early in the match. So we'll see what happens here at 170 pounds. Again, Kirkman's in the white singlet. Jackson from Marion's in goldish silver type of thing. Kirkman tries a straight-on shot there. A couple hooks put in by Jackson. Again, elbow control by Kirkman. Now Jackson gets underneath in some type of a reshot.
Oh, it's a nice inside trip there.
And boy, I know I see that all the time out of some of these better kids. If you shoot on them, you better come up correctly, because we call it a reshot type of thing, where they right away get their hips down low to try and get in the score.
He attacks. He can score so many different ways, Jackson, and he's impressive. Again, what Kirkman wants to do here is try to weather the storm early and keep himself in the match. He wasn't really able to do that last week, and if he can do that here, you never know.
Again, we're inside a minute to go in the first period. Kirkman's got good elbow control here. See if he can throw it by or come back. Nope, just bails out.
We have a correction in the 3A 152-pound state championship winner, Max Snyder.
Behind him, he's got to get to his feet. Now on the toes. See what they're going to call here. We're kind of screened by the scorer's table. No, it said the toes came out.
Great job by Kirkman there.
Again, we all talk about as coaches and wrestlers, learn to use the mat. I mean, if you can get out of bounds constructively without fleeing the mat, it can help you so much in situations. Nice little duck under. It's like he's trying to use his length to lock up some type of cradle here. And now he slid the leg in. Again, we're inside 15 seconds first period. I like the way he scoops that leg to set up his cradle. Kind of gets the boy off balance.
Well, he's got a lot of length on top, and that's obviously very hard to deal with, leverage along with that quickness.
Tell me how difficult it is for you as a coach to deal with different kids' body styles. In other words, you're obviously going to coach a shorter boy different from a taller boy as far as some of their techniques. Is that hard to do for these kids to be able to adjust to different things?
Well, I think, that's all part of just drill and technique and learning, what has to be done. And it, it's funny because obviously, a lot of these kids have been wrestling for, many, many years. And so they've developed techniques or they've developed moves that, that they like. But, part of getting to that next level in a high school situation is, not just doing the things that you like to do. And you have to understand position. There's an escape there.
Yep, Jackson's out. He leads 5-1. Just starting the second period. Nice blast double. Boy, he just comes at that so hard. And there would be 2 takedown. He leads 7-1.
Somebody's bleeding, or what do we got?
Yep, a little bit of blood coming up
blood
there.
Time here.
Again, it's been a tough tournament for these kids. They've wrestled now 4 quality opponents in the last 48 hours, so we're probably going to see a little bit more of the blood injury type of things because their body's probably having some trouble adjusting to it.
Jackson, again, is just, an awful talented young man, and, he may be one of the, the best talents in this 2A tournament, and he's getting on a roll and starting to show it here in this match.
Yeah, you mentioned a few minutes ago that his school dropped down from AAA down to AA. That's the second time we've seen that tonight. Can you maybe give us a little bit of background on the schools as far as what qualifies you for A, AA, and AAA?
There's another takedown by Jackson. Well, the IHSA, when they adopted the multiplier years back, what they've done now is they've added a provision there that if a school has not had a lot of success in a certain sport, that the multiplier wouldn't apply to them. So that's something, again, that we've seen. We saw with Fenwick High School earlier in the tournament here. Talked about it with them and some of the other schools. And then some schools, their enrollment shifts and just they go down. Sandwich High School was a 2A school for a few years there, and the demographic has changed out there a little bit in terms of their population or their enrollment. So now they're a single A school. So that does rotate, but again, I think it's going to take a few years of adjusting to this new rule to sort that out.
Again, another nice takedown for Jackson, and he's been in total control this match. He leads 13-4 and's got him on his back for the pin. Real impressive tournament for Nathan Jackson out of Chicago Heights, Marion. Go ahead, Coach.
Like I said, I think he's one of the most talented kids in this whole 2A tournament. He's awful impressive, and he showed it here tonight.
So that's our 170-pound champion here in Class AA. All right, again, we'll take a quick break. Got some awards to give out. We're waiting for the Class A and AAA matches to end, so get back with us in just a couple minutes here.
2012 2A 160-pound champion, his second state championship.
All right, now we're at 182 pounds here in the Class AA state tournament. Coach, give us a little rundown on the 2 boys who will be competing for us.
Well, first of all, we have senior Jack Detchow from Richmond Burton High School. He's 33 and 0. He's a 2-time runner-up. Interesting enough, as you guys saw in the article this week, he's Jordan Blanton's cousin. Yes. Jordan's an All-American down here at U of I, and Jack has been close several times. And hasn't gotten that pursuit yet of that state championship. His opponent is also a senior, 32-3 from Bloomington High School, Stefan Rudisil. And again, this is a going to be a good matchup here. And I know that Dekow has been pointing to this all year, and he looks very, very strong in this tournament. So I think he's a slight advantage here on paper.
It's going to be tough to keep track of them because they're both in basically white singlets, though Redissel's does have some goldish type. But look at the headgears. Dekow's headgear will be the black headgear. Redissel's will be the white headgear. Probably the easiest way if you can't see on the screen.
Dekow has that, I call it the Lehigh style
look, exactly.
With the 3 stripes.
Dekow's in on a nice shot. Beautiful double for the 2 points early in the match. I really enjoyed watching him play football this year. Their team made it to the state finals, and he put on an impressive show as a running back for Richmond Burton. Again, he cuts him to lead 2-1.
He's obviously a very good-looking athlete.
And he's coached by Brett Rojic up there at Richmond Burton, and they've got a fine team again this year. He's done a real good job with them.
Well, Brett's done a nice job, too. A few years ago, they made the transition from a single-A school to a double-A school. That was actually in the middle of Jordan Blanton's career there, and they haven't missed a beat. Brett has several boys down here every year competing and winning state championships and finals matches. So Richmond Burton's done an excellent job of establishing himself in the north here.
He leads 2-1 in on a real nice shot on the single.
Goes across
the far leg.
Nice job.
Gets the 2, and he'll lead 4-1. Again, impressive display on his feet so far, and got a chance to watch him last night in the semis, and he did such a great job also on his feet.
It's a 4-1 match here. We got a minute. Looks like he's going to put him on and cut him again here.
Again, 4-2. And Redissel's coached by Mark Gardner over there at Bloomington. And I don't know, most of you from up in the northern part of the state, the Gardner family's just done some great things. His father and his uncle were coaches down in Springfield for years. He and his brothers are all involved in the sport as far as coaching. And Mark's another one of those ones. He gets his kids involved quite a bit with the freestyle and Greco. And it's really helped the Bloomington area as far as trying to be able to compete. Obviously, his team's in the dual part of it. They'll wrestle Tuesday night against Taylorville down in Springfield.
That was a very powerful double leg there by Dekow.
He's got the ankle trapped. He's got to let it out.
He's got that actually split it there in a Turk position.
My fault. A good call. And he used it to his advantage and turned him off of it. Can keep the leg split, keeps the half buried. Redissel's in bad position here.
This could be a fall.
Yes. We're inside 10 seconds. Nope, not going to get out of the period. So Jack Dekow finally gets it done. A championship after a couple different times coming so close. Got to be real proud of what he's accomplished.
Excellent job by him, and again, very, very dominating. I believe he's going to Old Dominion next year.
Yep, that's what they tell us. And again, great football player, good athlete, and a great wrestling career up there for Coach Wojcik up at Richmond Burton High School.
Well, while we got some time, we can give credit to some of the other boys in the bracket here. Archie Williams from Champaign Centennial finished third at 182-pound bracket, and Jake Turk from Montini finished fourth here at 182 pounds. And Chris Chiatras from Lamont, one of those upper weights I was talking about earlier from Lamont High School, finished in fifth place and did an excellent job. And the Countryman boy from Morris finished in sixth. So another outstanding bracket, but Jack Dekow was really the class of the bracket from start to finish.
Yeah, we're starting to run into some dominant performances. We've seen a couple in a row. We saw Rio, we saw Jackson, we saw Dekow. At our next weight class, 195, we're going to see Gage here, and Gage has really been impressive this tournament.
Well, yeah, a lot to be said. Gage is, a very, very decorated young man, and this 195-pound match we have coming up is a battle of the running backs. So both of these boys had outstanding seasons. Gage is a running back for Crystal Lake Central High School, and Joey Valdivia is a running back for Grays Lake Central. So both of them are returning state place winners. Gage, of course, is a three-time place winner and a defending champ, and his only loss of the year was to Brad Johnson, 6-4 at Dvorak.
I got a chance to watch that match, and Johnson really did a nice job of taking Gage out of his game. Gage is obviously very tough on his feet, but just brutal on top. He gets on top of you, and he just beats on you. And the boy did a great job of staying out of the cradle against him.
And could possibly light a fire under new kids or new families or new schools and programs. I think has got to be good for wrestling. You watch these kids here that are wrestling in the 5th and 6th place matches this afternoon. I'll tell you what, those cheers are as loud from their fans as they are tonight for these finals. And, these parents down here with cameras, at these awards, there's only one guy in the top of the award stand, so there's obviously a lot of interest in all those other boys that are getting recognized too as all-staters. And so I'm in favor of that. Some of the purists don't like it or think there's too many awards given out. I think that the boys get their due, and when you're good, and giving out a few medals doesn't tarnish your state championship, I don't think.
All right, Harrell will be in the black singlet. Again, he's from Crystal Lake Central. Valdivia from Grays Lake Central. He'd be in the white singlet. We're just starting here at 195 pounds. And again, in the past, we've always seen Harrell be very aggressive, go out and try and get that pin as quickly as possible. And he's already wrestled 30 seconds, Coach, and he hasn't really gone after it yet.
Well, Valdivia is, obviously, looking to try to change this match, and Gage is sizing him up right here, and he has taken him out of that initial.
And Valdivia's down on that one knee. What do you do if you're Gage? You just bull rush him and try and flatten him out just like that?
Well, Gage does that very well, and you can just see the power involved in him. And he's very deceiving. I mean, obviously he looks like a great athlete and he's powerful, but he certainly has more power in that body when you see him and how he unleashes it. He can really strike quick. Now, he does a great job on top. You're going to see a tight waist here to that cross-face cradle situation to a butcher. I mean, that's obviously it's no secret, but how to stop it's a different story.
Loose bulletin, exactly. And again, notice how Coach said he gets you flat with the tight waist, then brings his left hand, in that case, around to the front to a cross-face, right hand through the legs looking for his cradle, and boy, he just does it so hard.
Again, one of those Crystal Lake Central young men that we've seen over the years. Coach Justin Lair has done a super job with that program.
So we're at 55 seconds left. Again, tight waist, cross face in. The boy's doing a nice job countered. He's getting to his base right away, which makes it hard to lock the cradle up.
Well, again, he knows from being up north there, and Gage is getting close there, but he's got to keep that arm, and it's cradle defense is something that when you wrestle a school that likes the cradle, I mean, there's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done. Sometimes the old standbys that coaches like to think are successful defending cradles aren't necessarily, the things that you need to be working on. So positioning and body position, very, very important to not let that guy get that loaded up.
Again, he's riding him tight, 15 seconds, actually inside 10 seconds now in the first period. And this will be the longest Gage has wrestled in the whole tournament. He's had pins in 21, 35, and 48 seconds so far. So this is the first time he's actually been to the second period. Again, this is kind of what happened to him at Dvorak. The boy's able to slow him down and make sure that he had to do some things. And I don't know if he got frustrated or the boy just had a good day, but that was his only loss, as you mentioned earlier.
Right, and it's something that's going to be, important as he moves on to the next level, because obviously he's, no matter how good you are, you're not going to dominate people like you do in high school. And so learning to wrestle, actually 7 minutes in college is going to be an adjustment for him, and as it is for many freshmen.
So again, nice tight waist. He actually has the crotch pry in with the right hand, riding him, trying to hook the leg to continue to ride him. Gage trying to crawl to get the hips out. And now he reverses him, and he'll lead 4-0 here with 1:35 left in the second period. Again, has his cross face in. Boy, just watch the way he tries to jerk that arm and shoulder in so he can lock this cradle up. And you mentioned before, he's got other things, Coach, that he does off this cross face series. He runs his butcher, and it's kind of hard to defend the different parts of the series if he can do them all correctly.
Absolutely. Well, Crystal Lake, if you know anything about their boys over the last couple of years, they do a good job teaching cradles up there. Gage obviously is pretty lethal with this cradle, and 3-time state champ last year, Joey Kilbasa, was known for a cradle, and the young man that got upset in the 152-pound semifinal, finished here for Crystal Lake Fugial. He's got an excellent cradle here. He's got it locked up. Oh, almost. He's got to get hip to hip here now and keep pressure. We always used to talk about driving through the man, drive his hip to the mat instead of jumping over. We want to get him down to that hip.
Again, just a tremendous job here by the boy from Grays Lake. He stayed right in the match. We're 50 seconds left here in the second period.
Gage has got that arm up on his back too. He's got that arm bar. He's working.
New type of pinning combination for him here. Yeah, you mentioned Crystal Lake, how they've come on. 3 years ago, they came to our sectional for the first time, and I'd never really seen their kids and was awfully impressed with them. Then last year, they had another great team, took Montini to the championship match and gave him a fine duel. So he's done a great job with them up there. Again, riding him hard with inside 20 seconds.
He's trying to put that, we call that putting that hand in the pocket, though. He's trying to go reach across that hip and create a torque on that shoulder to be able to turn him.
Okay, now the boy from Grays Lake will have choice in the third period. He's down 4-0 and just been ridden hard. What are you going to do if you're coaching him here?
Well, I think he's got to go neutral. He's got to try to get something going offensively here. And if he can get a takedown.
Yeah, we'll see. Yep, looks like he has taken neutral here. And you're right. He just needs to maybe get in on a shot or try and make something happen. I don't think he wants to wait and let Gage try and hit a double against him, though.
No, he's got to try to get some offense rolling here and see what he can do and at least cut this match to, it can still be a 2-point match with a score here with a takedown. So I think he's got to be thinking in that way.
And he has slowed Gage down quite a bit during the course of time. Usually he's much more active as far as trying to look to score. There he does shoot that blast shot. And again, if you get a chance to watch this again, watch the way his hips move. Boy, he comes down and right through you so quickly.
Yeah, he does an excellent job. He's got really unbelievable strength.
And he'll lead 6-0 with about 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the third period. Again, nice tight ride here. Maybe look for a stalemate call if he doesn't get active with his hands.
Well, I'm surprised the referee is letting him be belly to back as long as he has, to be honest with you. But
again, Gage is in perfect position here. If he gets in any type of trouble, he can just drive him out of bounds. Otherwise, he can just ride him forever. This is where he might become a very good college wrestler because he's so proficient on the top. And in college, with the riding time point and things like that, that could be a big weapon for him.
Well, and that's something I think that he'll excel at the next level, is being able to do that.
Again, tight waist to the crossface. Still trying to look for that cradle, and the boy's just doing a nice job of countering the cradle, keeping the hips square. He throws that crossface with some authority also. He just doesn't tap it on there.
He transitions very well. The best cradlers I've had over the years they always do an excellent job cranking on that tight waist. They force you to post down, kind of bring that elbow and boom. Oh, there's a reversal. Great job.
6-2.
Well, he wrestled tough the whole match. I think Joey did an excellent job here.
Very impressive job for Valdivia. But again, Gage here, two-time now state champion from Crystal Lake Central. He'll finish with a record of 41 wins and 1 loss. So we still have two weight classes to go. We got some awards to give out. Why don't we give you a break here, and we'll come back in 3 or 4 minutes with the final 2 weight classes. All right, we're back for our 220-pound championship match here on the 2A level. Go ahead, give us some background on what we're going to see here.
Well, at 220 pounds tonight, from East Peoria High School, we've got Lucas Joseph, and he's 44-0. He's a junior and having a fantastic tournament. His opponent at 37-4, he's a senior. We've got a little history here. He's a young man, Malcolm Watson from Nazareth Academy in LaGrange Park, and Nazareth Academy just started a wrestling program, I believe, 2 years ago. So Coach Dennis Laughlin this year, many of you might recognize Dennis. He was for years with one of the better feeder programs in the state of Illinois, the Vidum Cats. Dennis and Jim Deedy. And Dennis is the head coach, so this is Nazareth Academy's first place winner, and it's a state finalist here.
Well, that's a nice story. As far as I always like to see schools starting wrestling programs. Joseph would be in the black singlet with the dark headgear. Watson's in the dark blue singlet with the white headgear. I've got a chance to watch Joseph quite a bit. He's from our area, and he likes to be real active on his feet, move around quite a bit. His coach, Phil Johns, does a nice job of working with him. He wrestles an unusual style for a bigger type of person, and he's really had some exciting matches here. He won his first one 5-4, then 7-6 in the quarters in overtime, and the semis 4-3 on a takedown right at the end of the match. So he's had some close ones to get himself here.
Excellent, and I know that the Watson from Nazareth, he's a pretty explosive young man, and I had the fortune of watching him last couple weeks.
Yeah, he had a great match in the semis. He beat Jordan Watkins from down in Jacksonville, beat him 3-2, and Watkins came into the match with 40 wins and only 1 loss. So both of them have beat some quality people during the course of this tournament. Pretty balanced weight class is what we saw. Again, a lot of hand fighting early.
Both guys are moving and pretty active. A lot of fakes. Nobody's really committed yet to a shot. I like that underhook series he's working.
We're inside 35 seconds left in the first period. A nice little duck under to a double type of move. But again, I think he just used that to maybe get him out of bounds and show the ref that he wasn't stalling. He was going to take some shots in order to maybe help him later on. Joseph in on a shot. Comes up through it and not able to score. Couldn't clear the arm. We're inside 15 seconds in a scoreless first period. And we'll now go to the second period here at 220 pounds. No score.
My feeling is coin flip's going to be big here.
Right away, they're going to have him take bottom. Like you said, this would come into play if we get to the ultimate tiebreaker and it's still tied. He would, assuming he can get the first point here on an escape, he would get his choice, top or bottom. Right away, he's to his feet, and he scores within less than 5 seconds. I really like that stand. Got the hips out and the foot out and got to his feet and was able to get the point. A lot of activity with the hands here. We'll see if somebody's going to use it eventually to set something up and commit to a takedown. Joseph tries and has to bail out.
Watson's done a good job of just holding position.
He's in on a reach shot. Oh, nice job. Let's see if the toes stay in.
I'll tell you what, great job of working the edge there.
Yep, good job keeping the toes in. Ref right on top of it, and he came out with the 2 right away, and it was a real nice call. So he'll lead 3-0. Watson from Nazareth Academy up in LaGrange Park. Right away, Joseph's to his feet, and he gets his escape. It'll be 3-1 with 1:15 left. Next points here will be big. If Joseph can score him, he's right back in the match. If Watson gets him, he's got control over it with another takedown.
Absolutely.
Watson, nice underhook here with his right hand. Joseph tries to hand fight and swim through it and gets it off. Watson's stance seems to be frustrating Joseph a little bit. He's a shorter boy to start with, and he keeps that head down. And Joseph's not able to get to his legs. See if he changes to some type of head snap maybe in order to get himself in position to score.
Well, the matches that I've seen in this tournament out of Joseph, he seems more likely to score off a counter situation. He hasn't really been able to initiate offensive openings whereas I think Watson has more of that ability. We saw the ability to
in the first
throw, and so we'll see how that translates here as they're under 30 seconds in the second period. Keeps working that underhook series.
Got the hook buried, actually. Joseph tries to lock up his 2-on-1 or Russian, depending on the terminology you like to use. And we'll go to the third period with Watson has a 3-1 lead. Now, I assume Joseph's going to get the escape here. He did last time very quickly. That'll make it 3-2, and it'll be interesting to see if either one of them has a game plan, something they've seen that's going to open it up to win it. As you said, Watson seems to be better off when he's aggressive and moving after him, and Joseph, he seems to like to kind of counter, so they're both kind of walking into each other's strength here. We'll see who gets the better of it.
Keeps working that underhook, and obviously, as you mentioned, the advantage with his height. If you've noticed one of the Dennis Laughlin's assistant in the corner for those trivia buffs, that's Johnny Starzak, who was the all-time pin leader in Illinois out of Providence High School for a few years until Garrett Goebel broke his record.
That's another program that's got a great history to it as far as Coach Healy over there does some tremendous things with him.
I always used to teach the big guys, especially the guys that were shorter. That underhook is I think one of the best series that those guys can learn. And I think the reason is you could do so much with it, and you look more offensive than you really are.
And it slows the other boy down. There's not a whole lot. If you've got him in the hook and have it buried, there's not a whole lot he can do to do things against you offensively.
Right.
So we're inside a minute, 3-2, and still in favor of Watson. And Joseph just dove to try and get something started for him. Now he's spinning.
He's got a hold of his singlet there. It's going to be a technical violation.
Good call. Yep. So that'll make it 4-2. Now Joseph needs to just keep his poise. Takedown's still going to tie it for him, assuming he can ride him out. And the hook's buried for Watson. He just keeps fighting in there and getting in that hook. Joseph, he's not doing what he has to do to win the match. He's taking some chances, maybe not the prettiest shots, but just needs to get in a scramble situation.
There's a nice high situation. He switched off.
Here's his chance to tie it. And Watson just got too good a hit for him.
Watson does an excellent job there.
Yeah, just nice hips. Now, what's he going to call here? No, we're going to say they're out of bounds. So what's 9 seconds left? Joseph going to be able to get one more shot in. He'll have to basically just take a gamble.
I think he stepped out beforehand, so I think it was a good call.
Watson hasn't been warned for stalling, so he's just going to put it in the deep freeze here. Great match to watch. Very good job by the boy from Nazareth Academy. Got, like we talked about, he kept it under control, used that underhook constructively, and one time shot a nice, beautiful shot and won the match. So that's our champion here at 220 pounds. Malcolm Watson from Nazareth Academy. And
how many coaches have their first state place winner as state champion? So.
I was just going to say, I'll just take a wild guess. I bet that's their first state champion, right? All right, we'll have one more match here. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with our match at 285.
That is a neat story.
All right, now our final match of the night, the 285-pounders. A little bit of background on the boys competing here for us.
Well, at 285 pounds, got a great matchup tonight from Vernon Hills. Got Jeremy Brazil, and he is 44-1. He's a senior. He took second in state last year, and his only loss this year is to James Buss, who is wrestling over on the 3A championship mat for De La Salle. He draws Seth Gonzalez from Yorkville, who's 39-6. And I'll tell you what, Seth, if you win the state championship tonight, could also make history to be the answer to a trivia question. He'll be the first fourth-place sectional finisher to be able to win a state championship with the new rule this year, qualifying for.
Yeah, he'll be in grayish silver singlet out there, and Brazil's in the blue with the white trim. Got a chance to watch Gonzalez wrestle last week in our sectional, just a loaded sectional at the 285-pound class, and obviously he comes through it here and finishes fourth and beats some good people, got on a roll down here this weekend and has a chance to win the state championship.
Well, he avenged a loss from the sectional to the young man from Sterling, Curtis Lilly, in the semifinals, and that's what it's all about this time of year, is putting together that effort down here for the big show. So he's done an excellent job, and being a fourth place finisher to put himself in this position, he could really make history tonight.
In Brazil, got a chance to watch him some during the freestyle Greco series this summer and spring, and he's very solid. In fact, over on the Class A mat, Reed Selby from Byron was in the same type of brackets with these kids in the freestyle and Greco, because like you mentioned earlier, how important those are if you want to become a state and national type of wrestler.
No doubt about it. And these are some big boys here. He has very good size, Brazil.
Yeah, don't look for a whole lot of points to be put on the board during these. Probably a lot of hand fighting, trying to get somebody out of position one time.
220-pound award winners, please report at this time.
Again, the first period will end. Now here's the coin flip that's really important with these big kids. Green will get the choice, and right away he doesn't even think about it. He wants to go down, because the first point here could be huge, because you want to get to that if you get to that ultimate tiebreaker, you want to have your choice. Again, comes to a power base. Up to his feet, and Gonzalez, once he got there, basically cut him. He'll lead 1-0.
Well, and now he knows as a heavyweight he's got the hammer for the rest of the match, and that really puts Seth Gonzalez a little bit on the defensive, because basically he knows he's down a score, because if it gets to that overtime situation, he's got to make something happen.
Yeah, so maybe then he's got it, because he knows that, well, we're not that far yet, but in that first part of overtime, when they're on their feet, you start trying to force something, because you know that something good has to happen before you get to the tiebreaker.
Well, yeah, I think that's a definite possibility, and could even be earlier in the match. A couple years ago, we saw a match down here at the 2A level, a heavyweight match that was decided by the fact that when they had the choice in the second period, the young man deferred instead of choosing down.
Remember the situation.
That was something that obviously, they might not have been aware of that, the young man or his coach, and obviously that came back to haunt them.
And these always are tough matches to officiate when these kids aren't going to be real active. How do you want to get into as far as, are you going to call stalling, who's stalling, and so on? Because really, in my mind, neither one's looking to score here. They're just moving around. And though Brazil did kind of throw a little underhook type of thing, I don't know how serious he was about trying to score with it. And Gonzalez does have a 2-on-1.
Well, Brazil, I remember last year him wrestling in the state final match. We had him, and he lost to the boy from Montini, Ross Ferraro, in the heavyweight final. And Ross obviously was a much smaller, more active kid, and gave a lot of heavyweights trouble because he was able to move. He only weighed about 220.
Oh, he was
225
he was
pounds.
Fun to watch. I really enjoyed, because he wrestled the way I like to watch heavyweights. Dave Zabriskie wrestled over at Iowa State and was an NCAA champion. Wrestled the same way. Got out there and just was real active. Got these big kids out of position, and was just tough enough to score and win, even though he's outweighed in some cases 40, 50, 60 pounds as far as things go. Now we'll go to the third period.
You got a caution. Tell you what, with his size and his length, if he can get a breakdown off the whistle here, I'm sure he could eat up a lot of time and put Gonzalez down flat to the mat and make him build up. But
Comes
then look
to
like
a
he's
power
stand.
Let's see if he tries the mat return. Oh, nice mat return. Because usually the heavyweights just cut them because they don't want to have to stand there and maybe get warned for stalling because they know how important the stalling calls are. And you're right. Now he's got him flat on his belly.
That wrist buried.
He's looking for a hammerlock type of thing.
Just going to go to that wrist butt series, that Iowa wrist butt ride. As long as he still keeps working off to the side here, as he's doing right now, the referee shouldn't be bothering him about stalling.
Nope, because he's staying active with the hands. And
he's got a rote up. He lost that wrist now. Looks like he's going to chop again. Now he's going to get himself in a little bit of trouble because he's belly to back, straight behind. He's trying for that cradle. Oh, made a mistake there on the edge.
All right, now we're in 1 minute and 8 seconds. We're 1-1. And again, here's where maybe Gonzalez has to think about what's he want to do with this. He knows if it goes to the ultimate tiebreaker, he's going to have to ride him for 30 seconds to win. So does he want to take the chance here and to win the match, or does he want to take it to that with confidence that he can ride him?
Right. Well, and it looks like, whatever opening that he's going to see first, and you might not know when that's going to come, but for all practical purposes, it looks like he should know that Brazil did ride him. Of course, he did get up to his feet there.
So we're at 30 seconds. And really haven't seen much of an offensive threat out of either one yet, because again, they're wrestling this the way their styles are, and we talked about before, each wrestler has to learn a style and see what's successful for him, and they both have a lot of confidence in that they can get you out of position one time. If not, they're willing to take it to the top-bottom part of this, because we're inside 10 seconds. And that'll be the match. We're 1-1 going here into overtime. First point would win. Neither one's been warned for stalling. I think the referee's done a nice job on this one, letting them do not a whole lot, but since both of them aren't doing much, he's been consistent.
Well, they have been attacking in their own way and trying to get some things going. Gonzalez is digging for some underhook situations there. The only thing, you really worry as a coach here, any type of penalty point or something, obviously. So you have to really do a good job of practicing this situation and making sure that the boys really understand where they're at here.
Well, that's what makes it hard for a lot of these heavyweights. They don't really possibly don't have anybody in the room to work with because they're so big. It makes it hard to get through those different scenarios. There's a body lock
situation here.
And he's countered with kind of a headlock type of thing if he could decide to throw it, Gonzalez, and he took the step like he wanted to. He needs to circle out of bounds constructively. We're at 7 seconds left. And now we'll go to the second part. Ref will flip the coin. The boy get his choice, top, bottom, or defer. And he's going to choose bottom. As a coach there, do you like to defer there so you know what you need in the second part, or you want to just take it right away and get your one and then know what you need to do?
Yeah, I always more times than not I would encourage doing that, but sometimes it depends on the match too. Here's a good job by
it looks like he's looking
Gonzalez.
Reversals here. If he could
see now again, he's making a mistake here. He's got to get those hips clear. He's taking time off this clock. That's an excellent job by Gonzalez here.
Yeah.
So many boys make that mistake, Kevin. That's one of the biggest things, I think, a situation that they get greedy. They turn back into the man. You got to clear your hips. You got to push away and get that point when you can.
We're inside right 10. If he just stands there and holds on, he's going to warn him for stalling with 5. That's fine. If he can just do it one more time and not get hit for the stall, he's got the huge advantage. Just has to be smart here in the last 6 seconds. Now here's where he's going to get in trouble. He's going to make him mat return him.
He got hit there.
He got to his feet. Rule says he's got a mat return him, and he gave him what he thought was significant time to do it. He didn't get it down, so now it's 2-1 in favor of Brazil. And Gonzalez, he's going to have to get the point here to stay in the match. He's up. Needs to stay up. Again, see if the referee's going to Brazil mat return him well. 20 seconds left.
Nope, Gonzalez has still got a base. He got in trouble last time he tried to come over that cradle. He gets in trouble again.
Yeah, that's 2-2 and inside 10 seconds. Here's where Gonzalez is completely in bad position. He's got to ride him, and he's already been warned for stalling. So he's really going to have to work hard for these 30 seconds. Can't let him come to his feet. If so, he better mat return him quickly. So let's see what happens. Rule says Brazil's got to score to win. 30 seconds left in the ultimate tiebreaker. Now he's locked on the leg. Last time he hit him for stalling on this. Brazil gets the hips on him.
He's got to go back. Right now he's not.
Gonzalez really fighting hard
here. Get away from him.
Yeah, to me, you just bail out and take one. Looks he's going to get the 2 anyways. No, not yet. There it is to win it. So your champion here at 285 pounds from Vernon Hills, Jeremy Brazil. Like Coach said, he was second last year. This year gets the state championship. So that's our matches for tonight. Class AA, some great matches, great entertainment for you. Coach, it was great working with you. Got to see some great wrestling.
Thank you. I think we had some very historical performances tonight. We saw Dylan Reel win his third state title. An awesome job that he did there. And we saw our first place winner, state champion from Nazareth Academy in a new program.
Saw Dekow get himself a state championship after doing some great things.
So many impressive performances. It's really hard to single out any one, but the quality of wrestling continues to amaze me.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. If so, let the IHSA know, because I know they like putting it on for you. And join us again next Saturday if you can over at Bloomington.